whether you're at home, on the go, or at the stadium.
Welcome to the Centre Bounce, your home for all things AFL Supercoach.
Yes, guys, welcome to another Monday live stream at your, if you've been around for some time, your OG time slot of 7 p.m. Big J will be with us very shortly. Hope you're all having a wonderful long weekend if you are in Victoria, enjoying the Labor Day long weekend, that you've enjoyed the sunshine and you've had some time to, I suppose, reassess, reflect, have a look at your teams, see which ones were good, which of your premiums are good, which of your rookies were good, who we're going to throw out, who we're going to keep in, who we're going to add. There was a lot to go through. Like I said, Big J will be with us very shortly. And yeah, we recorded a few videos today. A couple have come out already. Obviously, a recap of yesterday's game, which was amazing. I'm looking at you, Maltesing, you very, very happy Pie supporter. And a lot of quite a few people unhappy that Nazaya owners have been bailed out. Let's just say, thank God for round zero. Supercoach Sports Guy, g'day, mate. Hope you're doing well. Daniel, g'day, Dan. Hey, mate. Hope you're well. Had a good week. I have managed to sleep in. It was a late night last night. The sleep in definitely comes in clutch, and it's very nice to be able to do this live stream at a 7 p.m. as opposed to an 8 p.m. because of me having to rush back from work. I work pretty far away these days, so being able to do it at the OG time of 7 p.m. definitely is very nice. Globes, how we doing, Mr. Peanut? Hope you're doing well. Cheese, I just want to cry more because opening round is trash. And we all know opening round is some hot trash. Who the hell asked for opening round? Let's be real. Nobody asked for opening round, but we had it and we're using it. We're using the information. And
what's up?
How you doing?
Mate, I am legitimately tired. I had I think I just had a big dinner and I'm just it makes me wish oh yeah, stream was on at 8 o'clock, but happy to be here. How's everyone going?
Here I was telling them I'm so happy to be back at my OG time of 7, and here you come thinking, oh, I wish it was 8.
Go and have a snooze, Joe. Come back,
All right, let's cut it. Let's call it even. Let's meet it in the middle. Go have a snooze. Come back at 7:30.
No, it's done. I'm here, boys and girls. I'm not going anywhere. Big J, yep. As Globe says, food coma for days, man. It was good though. It was a nice feed. So I'm very, very happy.
You either have a food coma or you have to go to the toilet to poop because of your big dinner. What's up with you with food on Monday nights, mate? It's not good. Maltesing, hey Joe, had a great day. Excellent. Can't wait to have the same team as everyone else. Hey, Globes, you'll be surprised. You will be surprised. I think there's still plenty of scope for change, and you're going to see it live because on Wednesday night, we'll be doing the live stream of the Rate My Team. So you're going to see, Globes, first and foremost, from all the people submitting their teams, that it's not necessarily all the same. Even I'm not still 100% set on what my team's going to look like. Harry, g'day, Harry. Hey, gents.
What's up, Harry?
So cut about Sinks and Nas. Had Sinks all pre-season. See, one of them, another one.
You and rookie Supercoach, if he's watching, he was very, very upset that his pod is no longer a pod. So let's check out what the Sinclair ownership is at the moment.
Yeah, his ownership was so low. I was honestly really surprised.
24% for Sinclair now.
He tripled. He was at 8%. I have no idea how up until the game last night that Sinclair was still so lowly owned. I had no idea. What were people thinking? That he wasn't gonna I did not see last year what happened when Nas went into the midfield, just how much Sinclair picked up.
I think it was just hey, you can only really have one of these guys. Maybe you had a Whitfield or an Ash, things like that, and it was kind of whatever. We won't go and pick this guy. We'll use him as an upgrade target. He won't score as much as everyone, and we can't have all these players. And then, yeah, obviously that's a bit different now, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. Changing on rucks again now with Cameron, English, and Cox. He's got Mason Cox at R3 and McAndrew in the flex.
I love it, Daniel. I love it. Just wait till he's named, but I love it. It's fantastic.
When do they play?
Mason Cox.
When do they play this week, the Dockers? Let's have a look. Let me share screen. I don't like it when it's just us like this. I need to have the screen in front of me. There we go. So we got round 1.
Yeah.
Oh, round 1. Oh no, this is filtered by Gold Coast. Whoops, no wonder. Alrighty. So round 1, we've got the Dockers are on Saturday. Good. So we will have their full list on Thursday. So we'll know if Mason Cox is playing or not, which is very good. Very nice. Very nice. Sinclair's never left my side. Good work, Globes. You're a smart cookie. Causa! How are you, Causa? I can't believe my boys went bad. Blakey and Ash. Yeah, man. They were both no good. No good.
Yeah, it's a rough one. Ash is kind of understandable a little bit. You had a look at how he was playing, but then also the injury at the start of the game definitely didn't help. Took on a bit of a different type of role than what normally would have happened, I think. But in terms of Supercoach, I mean, it just means we're going to get them a bit cheaper, isn't it?
I mean, do you even want them at all?
Well, I think both of them are still going to be top 8 or around the mark. So one bad game doesn't define a whole season, especially when it doesn't matter for us in Supercoach land, really.
True. Matt, struggling to choose between the two big guns. Who would you start out of Bont or Gorn?
Not Gorn. Yeah, not Gorn, Matt. I need to see a lot more from him. But the trend at the moment does seem like these bigger rucks are going to drop in price. Like, it's not even, let's take away, okay, the new ruck rules don't affect him too much. It really is just the type of team and the type of game that the AFL's running into this year is going to be one of transition, and it's going to be one of pace. And we've seen an overall drop-off of ruckman scoring across the board. Now, Max Gawn does have what Darcy Cameron has and has, what Tim English has, and that's the ability to actually do stuff around the ground. So maybe he doesn't drop too much, but I'm predicting maybe like a 115 average from Max Gawn. He doesn't have the easiest run coming up. He's not a Tristan Cherry. And I think we're going to be able to get him at a much easier price. So spending $6.90 on him versus someone like the Bonds that, yes, last week or the game 2 days ago wasn't the best, but I think he's going to have a much better chance of being like a must-have starter, especially with his run coming up. Like, Brisbane was probably his hardest game he's going to have in like a while. So, yeah.
And what did he score? Like a 119 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit 3 goals, but a 1-9, regardless of how he did it, Bont 119 against the Lions, you take that. You take that every day of the week, I think. So, whereas you don't really know how Gawn's going to go for the rest of the year. He definitely looked a bit better in the Pracky game, in the Amy series, but yeah, he looked shocking in the State of Origin, and then he had the calf tighten or the hammy tightness, whatever. I don't know. And plus his age, there's a bit gone against Gawny at this point, in my opinion. Track never left my side. There you go. Again, a smart cookie. So you're the one who's not happy about this, Globes, are you? I'm so tired from playing tennis this weekend and watching my mates play. Didn't win a round of my events. Oh. Sorry, Causa.
Next time.
Next time. You get him. You'll get him next time, mate. You're the ladies. You kill him. You'll kill him. I'm really surprised not to see any Adelaide Primos in any team. No buys, and they're still going to be a top 6.
I don't know if they will be, to be honest. I don't know. Like, we're going to see round 1, round 2, round 3 to kind of get a bit of a gauge on it. But it isn't like Adelaide's lost a lot. Obviously new ruckman, but I just don't think the rules favour them too much. Yeah, like who's their midfield beating? Not really. Their hopes and dreams are on like Sam Berry. So I'm not as convinced that Adelaide is going to be like there around the mark. They'll probably be top 10, let's be honest. But like no one has them in top 4 predictions at all. Like just nobody. And their fixture's not as easy as what it has been in the past as well.
100%. It's the fixture. You can't forget last year, this team, in 24, Adelaide were 15th, which gave them a much easier fixture last year. They then finished top of the table. Now look at it. They got the Pies at the MCG, always a close game. And they got the Dogs, who a lot of people, they just beat the reigning premiers at the Gabba. They then got the Cats at the Cattery. That's hard. Then they've got Freo. A lot of people have got top 6 mark. Then they got the Blues, who will probably lose. Don't get me wrong. Then they got the Saints. Will the Saints be gelled by then? You'd probably think so. Might be a tough matchup.
Yeah, the first couple of games aren't going to be great for them, but I think after that.
Then they've got the Lions at the Gabba. That's a tough matchup. Showdown, you never know which way that's going to go. They'll beat the Tides and they'll beat North. Struggle against the Hawks at UTAS. That's where the Hawks love to play before their bye. Then they come out of the bye. Look at that. Cats, Dogs. They'll beat Melbourne. Another showdown. And they'll beat the Eagles. That's a tough game. The Suns are probably top 4 maybe this year, if not top 8. They got the Swans. They might be top 4. Pies again. They'll smash us. They'll beat the Tigers. Dockers away. Giants. That is not an easy fixture, and that's courtesy of finishing top of the ladder. So, in terms of Adelaide Primos, no one's really talking much about them because Dawson, unfortunately, has been earmarked to be playing more forward this year.
Yeah.
From preseason reports, and we sort of saw that in the cracky games in the preseason that he was playing more forward. That's not really where we want to see him. Rochelle. All right, fine. There's a potential there for Rochelle, but Rankin comes back after 2 weeks. And then what happens to Rochelle? Does Rochelle then go play forward again? You can't pick Rankin because he's missing the first 2 weeks. It leaves Laird and Worrell in the back line as potential options. Worrell, one of the worst kept secrets. A lot of people are thinking about Worrell, and he's certainly in a lot of people's exit plans. If a McKercher doesn't work, for example, then you can just switch to a Worrell.
Plus like 40K, yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got Laird, who, Laird's an interesting one. Maybe I haven't given enough respect to Laird, but I'm not sure about him, to be honest. Let's have a look at Laird. Do we have preseason? Yeah. Are there preseason scores in this thing?
Not sure. PS. What's PS?
PS. Preseason.
Yep.
And then we want the Adelaide game there.
That one. Yeah, and the thing with Adelaide too is there's not even like relevant rookies in Adelaide. There's a couple of them that, at least us that spoke with MJ yesterday, Bond and Cook, and a couple of these guys might just not play because they've got a few players coming back. So
Kickins.
Yeah.
He's not even on Kickins. He's not on Kickins. So we've got Miller, Worrell, Bond, and Murray. So no Kickins for Laird. And when you want a primo defender, you really do want someone who's going to be on Kickins because it just gives you, because that means they're the guy. Or they've got an increased floor because you're always going to get guaranteed 3 cheap points every week, regardless of the matchup. If you're the kick-in taker, well, you're going to get the benefit of those 3 points. So that's an issue, in my opinion. So that's maybe another reason why Laird isn't really being considered. And so when you factor in all those guys, a lot of people had maybe Curtin in the team, in their early teams, in the preseason. He gets injured. Exactly. And then he gets injured. And then a lot of people had Sid Draper because he was looking to be all right. Then he does a groin and then gets re-injured again. So it just so happens that unfortunately, a lot of Adelaide players are ruling themselves out. But don't be afraid. Have no fear. Lachlan McAndrew is here. He will be our man, Lachlan McAndrew. He will be carrying the Crows' flag in all of our teams.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be great.
Shaq.
What's up, Shaq?
Season over. Whoever figures out the scoring system will win Supercoach Gold. Those who don't will be behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, it just kind of depends. Do we start to lock in and get those 540k players across the board? Maybe it's time for a cheeky video on it. But I think there's going to be a set and forget and a structure that's going to work for a lot of people, and we'll see what happens with that. I think you just got to press AFL, and it takes us back to AFL.
Well, Supercoach Gold is something that you buy. You don't have to really. It's not something that you get ahead of the curve.
Gold as in like going to win the money.
I know.
Yeah.
I really like Dawson and Laird. Oh, there we go. We just covered those. Sorry, Globes.
It's just that the early fixture's not that great. Like Laird, okay, because he's playing backline, but the Adelaide fixture, there's a lot better options. I mean, I'd rather have Anderson yes, he does have the round 3 bye, but I'd rather have him and rookie coverage than potentially Dawson to start the season. Like I'm expecting Gold Coast to come out and just smack face. So yeah, it's a bit rough.
If Dawson was earmarked for halfback, he'd be locked in my side. He'd be locked in my side, the first one in my team, because Dawson off halfback is amazing. The guy can intercept mark. He'll be able to drive off halfback and deliver. Playing forward, he's going to have those really fluctuating games where if he's not hitting the scoreboard, he's not scoring. So, but then again, it's just come to my attention. I just remembered. This is a new game now. It's a new game this year, Jez.
Yep.
The forwards are scoring. The half forwards are scoring better.
Of course, because they get the ball and they run forward, and they're the ones that are used for they're the ones that are used for the transition ball a lot up and down the ground. They're the quick players. Your Bailey Humphreys and whatnot. Well, depends on who they are, but yeah, your Bailey Humphreys and whatnot. That's just what happens.
Now, but the interesting thing is because of the rule changes, because it's more transition now, because we have less stoppages and the ball's being moved forward at speed, could that mean that Dawson's hitting the scoreboard more? And then, something to think about. But at the moment, I don't have any Adelaide primos. G-Bags, hey fellas, thoughts on which of these pairings I should prioritize? Cozzy Pickett and Farrow or McDonald and Blackiston? If Farrow is named, then I would go Pickett and Farrow.
I'd go the second one 100%. Both of them look to make a bit of money. I don't think Cozzy Pickett's going to be the keeper that we think. And if you have 20K or things like 30K, I'd rather go Petrarca. So I think McDonald and Blackiston all the way. You'll end up getting more overall scoring, I think, and potentially more cash gen. Should be funny.
Cozzy Pickett, I think, will be a keeper. I think Cozzy Pickett's playing on ball. They have to play him on ball. He's always been on ball.
We've already penciled in 2 primos that are potentially getting DPP come round 6. Cozzy Pickett's not.
But you don't have to have all of them.
Yeah, you do. You got to get all the good ones.
No, you don't. You're including Rowan Marshall in that discussion.
No. I have Tukamela and potentially Bontempelli if he keeps up the forward line.
Bro, Bontempelli is not getting forward DPP. It has never.
How do you know? Bevo's done weird shit, man. He's on the tracker, Joe. He's already high enough percentage. Stop the cap. Bro, that's it.
Nah. Okay. We gotta freaking put a bet on this now. There's no way Marcus Bontempelli is gonna get forward DPP. If he does that, then what do we do? We're gonna have to put a bet on it, mate. What are you willing to do? Are you willing to buy Essendon gear and wear Essendon gear to? Because we play you later in the year, don't we?
Well, yeah, because you can't make round 3.
We always play each other twice a year, don't we?
Yeah, I think we're playing like way later.
Round 16. Come round 16, if Bontempelli has got DPP, I'm wearing I'm buying another freaking North Melbourne shit paraphernalia and wearing it to that game. And if he doesn't, you're wearing Bombers gear.
Sure.
And you to that game.
All right, then. It's a bet. Let's go.
Freaking Bontempelli is not getting DPP. We always, it's the dream.
Crimson.
It's not happening this year. It is not.
Lock it in, boys.
It's not happening. It is not happening. You heard it here first. It's not happening. Jake Sharp. Is it LDU season, boys? I've never been burnt by him before. Wow.
Sorry.
Hello. What do you think?
No, I don't think it's LDU season. Like,
why not?
I think you'll be okay, right? As I've said multiple times with LDU, it's never been can he perform. It's always been attitude issues with him. What I mean by that is I don't know if he's got the capacity to put in the attitude he needs to actually get like the scores that we want. So he'll have massive games, and then games he'll just go missing for large periods of the time. He won't run, he won't tackle, he won't show effort. So hopefully the coaches have come to him and said, hey, mate, we're now paying you $1.3 million a year. You have to show some effort, like we saw in the preseason game. But I'm not holding my breath just yet. You know, that's the only issue.
$1.3 million just to show some effort. That's an investment right there, lads. Look, I'm not going there, Jake. I have been burnt by him before. There was even a moment in time, I think it was 2 years ago, when a lot of people were starting LDU, and then he was a late out before the game started, and then the game crashed. And then the game crashed because everyone was trying to jump on and get him out. So the game crashed, and a lot of people were stuck with LDU. So that was pretty crazy. But yes, I'm not picking him because as important as it is to avoid overstacking in the early buys, like round 3 in particular, I'm really struggling with how to balance the ones I want to keep and the ones I'm willing to try and get later. But it's also really important to manage your round 12 buy. Round 12 is, again, a really difficult round because these are a lot of popular players. Your Petrarca, your Noah Anderson, your Shazel, potentially your Sherry as well. If you have LDU, he's in this round. Then you got your Butters, your Rosie. So there's quite a few. Oh, McKercher as well, if you have him. So that's quite a few very highly important players that are very popular, all in round 12. So it is important to look ahead. I know you might think it's premature, but these are a lot of players that you're not going to trade out realistically before round 12. And you never know. There might be some players who appear for these teams that you really want to pick. Maybe Matt Rao comes back from his injury post-bye and is an absolute tear. Or maybe it is Dawson. Maybe Dawson is performing really well in that high half-forward type role, score assists, hitting the scoreboard himself. Maybe you might really want to get him in your team. And at that point, round 12, you're absolutely cooked because these are primos that you don't want to trade out of. And you really can't trade out of them because if you're trading out of these primos in this round, you're trading them to primos who have their buy to come. So you're not really avoiding the buy at all. If anything, you're doubling down. So, yeah, I'd be very careful and looking at your overall structure, Jake, before you lock in anybody. Dodgy, Malaka. Dodgy. It's so dodgy, mate.
What's up, mate?
Is Sherry going to be affected hard by the new rules due to less congestion and less opportunity for tackles?
100%. We've seen already a little bit with other rucks just how low the level of scoring is, even if they are fairly dominant. And I think that comes down from the congestion, comes down from the ball moving so quickly and whatnot. Made worse as well by Cherry just not being able to jump as high as some of the other rucks. I think he'll be okay, but I don't think we're going to see the 180s like we've seen from Cherry, like we've seen last year, where the ball kind of doesn't move very quickly. It would be a very North Melbourne thing to try and play the same rules as last year this year. But the game plan itself, I think, just seems like it's a much better situation than what it was before. So I personally don't think that Cherry is going to be the same. I think he's going to be a little bit different. I think he might be a bit worse, and we'll take it as it comes, but that's kind of the feeling that I've got. Hence why I haven't picked him, why I've gone for a ruckman who I think is going to be a lot better around the ground and a lot more mobile than what we're seeing from Cherry at the moment, or have at least seen from him in the Amy game, in the Amy series.
Yeah, if I just go back to that Al Patton, if you haven't watched our video, shout out to Al Patton. There was a post that he put up just before, and I showed it. Where is it? There he is. The ruck scores in the opening round thus far. English with a 117. He kicked 2 goals, one of which was the goal that put them in front. You'd imagine there was some pretty decent scaling involved there. Grundy with a 112 and a goal. Pito, 108 off of 3 goals. Decam, 107. He also kicked the goal and had like 7 intercept marks. DeConning, 96. Even after Marshall went out with the concussion. Briggs a 78, Witts a 71, and Meek a 71. So you can clearly see the big boys are no good. The big boys are cooked at this point. Meek only with a 71 playing against Briggs, who scored a 78. So that's not favorable at all.
Yep.
The game is being played a lot more on the outside. There are a lot less stoppages. People are trying to keep the ball in play. They're not getting throw-ins. The ball ups now are running and jumping style. So a lot of things going against Sherry. He does have the most piss weak run of all time for the first 8 weeks, which certainly offsets that. But you have to decide, if you don't start Tristan Sherry, it's because you're willing to forego him for the whole year. The whole benefit of having Tristan Sherry in your team is because he's expensive and you can parachute down to whoever you want. He does have the ridiculous early run. But after that early run, it gets harder again. Are you realistically going to pick up Tristan Sherry after his easy run? Probably not. No. So if you don't start Sherry now, make plans to pick up someone else. It could be a Grundy type.
Yeah. Like, obviously you can, but he doesn't have the favorable matchup, so why would you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, for me, the safe route would be you pick him, you start him, and you bank on him hopefully taking advantage of the early run. If it doesn't work out, you can go down to literally any other ruckman apart from Gorney. That's the safe play. Or you can get ahead of the curve and you can say, you know what, stuff it. I predict that he's not going to go his 140s. He might go 120 instead. And I'm better off using my money elsewhere. You can make that call. Another benefit that he's got is that him, compared to your Englishes, for example, he doesn't have an early buy. So that's also another benefit to starting Tristan Sherry. So if you've got the money and you can afford to put him at R1 and then have a McAndrew parked at R2, I think that could be a very viable strategy. And then play it by ear.
or just pick English and have fun.
Hey, Spanky! Dirty drop-in initiated. Good to see you, mate. Daniel, I wasn't going to get Sinclair until after his bye, and also was going to fade track. I had Archie Roberts and have been so strong on him this year and close mates with him. So knowing his role, I was... Oh, you're close mates with...
There you go, Daniel.
Roberts. Daniel, you got to hit me up, mate. I'm a diehard Dons, man. I love me Archie Roberts. G-Bags. Thoughts on Tanner Bruin as a starting option? I also love to know if it's a good idea to have more than 5 mid prices in starting side.
Tanner Bruin, yes. Looks like he's got the role. He's going to be playing off halfback / little bit of mid / wing, or at least pushing up the ground. If you rewatch the Geelong game, they actively look for him while he's on the field. He didn't have the best time on ground from memory. Let me just quickly pull up footyscores.net. Didn't have the best time on ground either, so I think there's potential for him to gain a little bit of scoring alongside the disposal efficiency going up. And he played 72% and went at 68% efficiency. So there's still potential for him to score a bit more too. I really like the pick at just over 230K or something, I think, as well, or 280. You can go a lot worse. Even if you want to with Tanner Bruin, pretend, okay, the first couple of weeks, I'll keep my team as it is. The first couple of weeks, I'll gauge how he goes. Come round 3, just after his bye, if like a Hayden Young or if a Parrish don't go so well, I can downgrade, get the cash upgrade from a Tanner Bruin and be very happy.
Yeah. How much is too much cash?
Five mid prices.
Oh, true.
It depends on who it is. I think in the midfield, a lot of us have started to put a couple of mid prices more than what we originally had, just for the fact that we just don't have mid rookies, really. So I think 5's okay. It just depends on who they are. So, like, if you count Flanders as a mid pricer, like, he's probably not. He's just like a full and primo keeper. So, just have to be really wary of who it is. In the back line, we still have probably 5 good rookies, hopefully. In the forward line, very much so. Forward line's the worst because we want kind of Buderick, but then we want like 5 or 6 really good rookies. So kind of doesn't work for us. We'll see how it goes, really.
I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah, you can just go guns and rookies if you want to, but
no, I wouldn't recommend it. I think
it's a little bit rough this year, I think.
Yeah, and I think guns and rookies might be a bit hard to do this year, given the new game. Buderick's heat map looks different. Wait, why does Buderick's heat map look like this?
Did they change all the heat maps? Maybe.
No,
and it shows wasn't it? Yeah, there you go. It shows like wasn't a good kick or bad kick, or he's upgraded the heat maps, Joe.
Bro, in the 2 seconds, I just had Tanner Bruin's heat map. It wasn't looking like this.
Yeah, maybe it is just Buderick then, because I've got Max Holmes and his doesn't show. Maybe they're slowly doing some upgrades. There you go.
Connor Buderick, lock him in. He's FootyScore's favourite player. He's got his own special heat map. You gotta lock him in now.
Oh, Bontempelli as well. Yeah, no, it's cool. And it actually shows you at what time in the game that it's got it too. So if you hover over it in the second quarter, he kicked it from there. Love it. Hamstring, if you're watching, love it, mate. Great.
Hammy, you're a superstar, mate. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, so there's a couple of them that I think are going to be really good. Buderick, Tanner Bruin, obviously Hayden Young and Parrish, potentially Cornelio if you want, and then you've got your backline players. I think it's when it starts to hurt if it's in a position of need on field that we don't have the cash gen. And when they're too speculative, I think. Because you can always trade down, but just a bit rough. Harry, how much cash is too much cash? I would say probably like anything over 60K is maybe too much. Anything over 100K is way too much. But I can understand, like, if your team's perfect, like, just sit on it. It doesn't matter. it could be the difference between you getting an upgrade a week early compared to others, or if a new rookie like one of the you would hate to have no money left, have made a really good team, and then miss out on a Sam Grill or a Farrow because you don't have the 80K to be able to actually upgrade into them. So that's probably the max amount that I would hold. It just gives you a little bit of flexibility. And if it means, oh, well, Connor Buderick does well for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I want to be able to grab whichever DPP Primo becomes DPP in round 6. Everyone else has to wait an extra week. Cool, I'll get the advantage that way. So, yeah, it kind of just not too much. Daniel traded Roberts to Sinclair. Cool. Had to trade Goulden to be able to, yeah. That track's pretty good. So it looks like you've grabbed 2 good players anyway. May have missed this G-Bags. How you going, mate? Thoughts on DCAM as R1, have English R2? Look, I don't mind it. I was talking about it before, trying to play around with a bit of a team idea of having DCAM and English. They don't share the same buy, which is great. Both of them do enough stuff around the ground, and I feel like they're appropriately priced as well. I don't know how much more like a Grundy is going to score more than a DCAM for 80K more expensive or 70K kind of more expensive. Same with a Tristan Cherry and a Max Gorn. So yeah, it just means that maybe you give up what would be your flex position in terms of like having a different player. I know I've kind of played around with having team reveal, hopefully after this, played around with having another forward rookie in the flex, maybe a Malcolm Rosas or a Dubberston or something like that. Trying to get that extra position on field versus, now it has to be McAndrew. And then I'm kind of locked myself into that kind of scenario. So that would be my only thing. But they're good players. They're probably scoring as much as they'll score throughout the season. Kroll and Crazy, but had she's sorry. Adam Adamo. How you going, Adam? Down payment, mate.
You got to do it now. He's put a deposit.
If he's named, then we'll see how we go. If he's named, I'm not going to put him in there and he's not named. So we'll see on Thursday, because I think I'm only going to lock in a couple of players. I'll have my starting team and things like that, but I think I'm really going to only lock in a couple of players. There's only two Carlton players, one potentially from Richmond that I care about, and then it's you've got the whole of Friday to finish off your team. So yeah, we'll do okay. I just need Mason Cox to actually be named before I figure that out.
I just wanted to show the difference.
Yeah, you need Sheasel, buddy. That's it. Spanky, you need Sheasel. Hey, favourite lads. How you going, Kobe? Mate, we're doing well. We're doing well. Nice to be here. First of our 4 live streams for the week, guys. So if you guys, want to become a member, you'll see us tomorrow. If not, you'll see us on Wednesday for Rate Your Team. I'm going to go and put up a couple of posts about it now. And then after that, we'll have the drive home on Thursday. So it should be a good one.
I just wanted to compare, before you keep going, I just wanted to compare the heat map for Darcy Cameron and for Tim English. If you look, a lot of Tim English's stuff is central. A lot. Yes, obviously, there's some around the boundary line, as you would expect, because whilst there are less throw-ins, there obviously are going to be some throw-ins every now and then. So they're going to be on the boundary line, but a lot of it is central stuff. You look at that compared to a Darcy Cameron, which is almost exclusively behind the ball or on the wings. Nothing is central. What does that tell me? It tells me that DCAM isn't really involved in the transition. DCAM is entirely reliant on being either an outlet pass or taking an intercept mark against the opposition. Yeah, he's not, and he's certainly a lot more lean towards the defensive side as opposed to being involved in the running. Because we know that the Pies love, they've got Nick, they've got Josh, they've got Houston, they've got Quaynor. Mate, they love to run and kick the ball out. So DCAM is not involved really offensively. He's definitely a defensive side of the ball type of player. It's very different to an English. English will be involved. English does run around. English does ask for handball receives, and then he will dish the ball out as well. This type of scoring, this type of profile is more sustainable in the new game because regardless of whether they're doing poorly or they're doing well, he's going to be running around and being involved in the play. Whereas there might be some instances, especially in the wet, where if DCAM is not in a position where he is marking the ball and taking intercept marks, then he might not really get those great scores when he's so reliant on the defensive side of play as opposed to being involved both offensively and defensively. That's one thing that I just want to bring to your attention. While I do think that they're not necessarily on the same tier of players. As great as DCAM is, I would say that he's more of a B grade, and in English is more of your A grade type ruck. And for very similar prices, I do like the look of English a bit more than DCAM.
Cool.
That's my. Yeah, we can keep going now. Back to our regular programming. Where are we up to? We're up to Dodgy. In regards to oh wait, we got some super chats. Hello, G Bags.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, G Bags. Thank you very much, buddy. As a Naz owner, should we be worried about his round 0 score, or will his ability to fight through the tags improve? I'm bullish that he will be. Look, I think he's going to be a top 6 defender regardless. It does feel like, though, clubs are going to give him a bit more attention. And St Kilda got found out a little bit by him. The crappy thing about Naz and the beautiful thing about Naz is that he can play in other positions across the ground. So if he is going to cop the tag or they need him to play forward or something like that, he will. He won't necessarily have that midfield role. And I don't think Perryman is kind of the be-all, end-all tagger either. So if a team can neutralize him a little bit, I think Naz owners may be in a little bit of trouble. 100%. Like, you can keep him, he's going to drop a little bit in money, things like that, okay. But I think from a Supercoach standard, perspective, I'm not going to start him because I'd rather have guys that have had a better starting, round 0 starting score that I know I'm not going to be cheaper automatically come round 3. Naz could come out and score 170, cool, whatever. But it feels like a lot of his big games are games when teams let him go off the hook. And I think that's slowly kind of going to start just disappearing a little bit. And look, Naz got the upgraded heat map as well, Joe.
He did. Everyone's got it. It was crazy. When we showed Tanner Bruin, it must have happened just prior to upgrade. That's pretty cool. I love it. This looks very nice. Well done to you, Hammy. This is a wonderful upgrade to the website. And Adamo has become a member. Welcome to
How you going, Adamo? Thank you very much,
done,
buddy.
Mate. He was asking if he gets a members league code.
If you jump... we can make a members league. That's not an issue. I don't think we've actually got 18 members. So maybe we'll see by the Thursday if we don't have enough. I think now we're on 16. So if you guys want to be a member and jump in our members league, you can make it happen if you want to. At the very least, jump on the members live stream tomorrow, and we'll set all that up for you as well. So should be good.
At the moment, what we've got for the members is, of course, the members live stream where you can be part of
and the community team.
Yeah, which you can be a part of, making suggestions and having your input into what the community team is. Last Tuesday, we had our first members live stream and we came up with this team, which is obviously going to be subject to change. I don't know if we're necessarily confident in keeping Nazire, but this is the team that we made last week, and we certainly were quite happy with what happened with Goulden and Walsh and Dacos. And yeah, as you can see, we had Sinclair. So as you can see, a lot of the selections that we had in our team, Jackson Sarong, did certainly very well. And so we're looking to, obviously, next week, Artie Jones is going to have to go for sure now that he's been concussed. Yeah. But yes, so this is what the team looks like. Yeah, exactly. So that's what the team at the moment looks like. Tomorrow in the Members Live, We will update this, which will, of course, be Democracy Manifest. Everything is voted upon, and hopefully should be a very, very good one. It did very well last year. The members team did very well last year.
Yeah, better
Jay,
than
was
our
that
teams.
was that a splice you were eating before? Or
No, it's like a frosty fruits thing. There's a couple of ice creams that I've discovered that aren't super bad in calories for you. So I'm like, hey, you can still have an ice cream and then not hate yourself afterwards if you're trying to lose some weight or at least be a bit conscious about what you eat. So bought a couple of packets of those while they're on special.
Well done, well done. Matt, who do you guys think is the best R3 cover at the moment if McAndrew is at R2? Reedy looked poor. Big Z from Brisbane could get dropped. I like the look of Coleman Jones from North. Did well on the pracky.
Yeah, I think it is between Big Z and Coleman Jones. Depending on what happens with Harris Andrews, could be like a big thing to just try and figure out. I don't think Coleman Jones will be dropped. Unfortunately, a lot of us North Melbourne fans aren't a big fan, but seems like they're doing a bit of a Cooper Trembath versus Darling, and then Coleman Jones is going to play regardless. So, yeah, it's kind of just how it's working at the moment, I think, for him. So you could go Coleman Jones, and I think he would be okay. At the very least, if he gets dropped, I know North have quite a few Sunday or late Saturday games. So it's not the worst loophole in the world. And barring injury, he probably comes back. So, yeah, probably him.
11 hitouts, 4 to advantage, and on the 50% disposal efficiency, which is kind of crap, but the conditions weren't great.
He only played
from memory.
30% game time for what, like a 60?
That's really impressive. What the hell?
Yeah,
what?
It's not,
I'm on ground, 31%.
Yeah, for a 66. So
get in my team. What are you talking about? CCJ, you've been complaining about.
I've been gatekeeping CCJ for everybody.
You've been complaining about CCJ since before CCJ was born. You're having shingles. I don't know, stress about this guy. Right, he's got 66 off 31% game time. This is amazing stuff. No early buy. Is he really? Is he going to play?
Well, that's what it looks like at the moment. It's going to be a case of Cherry there, and then the relief ruck I think will be CCJ, and then Trembath and Darling are kind of fighting for a spot. Whereas whereas my initial thoughts was it's going to be Cherry and then Trembath second rucking. But just from like the way the coaches are talking and things like that, and from what we saw in the preseason game, it was Darling came off at halftime and then Trembath came in, and CCJ kind of played out the full game. So it wasn't like you could swap. Though Trembath himself is a very capable ruckman, or at least second ruck, his leap is quite high. So there's a world where he plays as well. They just have to figure it out. That Darling and Trembath is not that tall, so he could probably out ruck Cherry, Cooper Trembath.
He had 46% tog for 80%.
Yeah, he came in how many goals?
You had how many goals? 2 goals, 1. Yeah, he's a specimen.
He came on and then kicked one in like 2 minutes of him playing. So he's a good player.
He's a specimen, that Trembath. That's a question for someone. Hazard will be more inside 50s due to yes, I understand. I agree with that. Game is game is free to get the ball up. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm saying. That's why now that I'm thinking about it, there could be scope. The role for Dawson might not be as bad as initially thought if the Crom can get it to him with regularity. The only question is, though, by taking Dawson out of the midfield, do they have a good enough midfield to get the ball to him?
Yeah. And now he has to be the marking target alongside Fogarty, alongside Phil Thorpe and Tex Walker and stuff like that. Like, for me, he's now competing with like 4 other people to get the ball instead of kind of being number 1. So that's kind of why I'm off him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, who did the Crom play in the preseason? They played the Dockers. Who are the ball? Who are you? Who are the on ballers? Let's have a look. Scroll down to the center bouncers. So it was Rochelle, McAndrew as the ruck, Edwards. Dawson still had 64%.
Yeah, but he's not getting the
He-
ball the whole time though. That's the thing. Like they're using the likes of Rankin, sorry, and Rochelle, these guys who can run super quick and burst through the midfield to throw the ball into the forward line. So he might be there taking up a player, but if he's not getting the ball, they typically don't do the congestion thing and boot it forward.
Lots of contested possessions. They basically pretty close in disposals. Tackles were in their favour. They outmarked them and had less clangers. Yeah, they had 16 less inside 50s. Yeah, that's what I was concerned about there. Minus 16 inside 50s. They didn't count the clearances. Oh, that's a shame. That's a pretty important statistic to count. Why the hell are the clearances not counted? All right. Oh, it's fine. Awesome analysis. Anytime, Globes. Anytime, my friend. Nathan, Connor McDonald has so much upside. Love him as a pick. Thoughts? Asked Nathan Ishmaid.
Look, for me, it's a no. I think at least watching the Hawthorn game this week, he really struggled to get to that 90. And our forward line is so stacked at the moment, especially now that Connor Buderick has come in, as almost a must-have selection if he's playing halfback and taking kickouts, that I just don't think we've got enough spaces on field. I mean, our midfield is stuffed for rookies, so a lot of us are stacking that position. Our back line is good and our forward line's good. And Connor McDonald, if he scores well, okay, but I don't think I'm going to be burnt more than having to spend an extra 80K on his starting price at any point through the season. And there's going to be primos with DPP, and Connor McDonald might just get pushed aside. Like if we had a world that DPP didn't exist, that getting DPP didn't exist, I think Connor McDonald would be better for us. A lot of his points, if you just go to his scoring, Joe, it felt like a lot of his points was junk time scores. So right at the end of the game. Yeah. So he did a lot in that fourth quarter when the game was basically over and he got a few extra points, similar to Whitfield. And I don't know. I'm just not. Some people are really impressed, Nathan, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, sure. You know, that's just the feelings I'm getting from him. So, yeah, it's you might be different, but I think the Hawks are going to struggle a little bit this year, especially with a few of their outs, and that might mean that McDonald gets a bit more of the ball. But I need to be convinced by some more data than what we've seen so far. Because the first week he wasn't great. The second week he just gets to 94 right at the end. Yeah, I don't know. Just the feeling I've got a little bit. I'm not rushing into him being a must-have.
Yeah, his price point. With his price point, you'd be picking him
Thanks,
to
Daniel.
be. Oh, cheers, Dan.
That like button, guys.
If you're picking him at that price, he's almost close to keeper status. I feel because if he goes 150, or if he's going 100 to make you that money to get you to a primo, and he's basically priced at a premium at that point. So, and I'm not really. I've sort of been burnt in the past trying to pick breakout players who might look good in preseason, for example, and then you sort of hope with natural progression that they tend to perform really well and take that next step to breakout. So for me, I'm sort of, I don't know if it's just from past experience that I'm trying to play a bit safer in that if I'm picking a mid-pricer, it's because then again, having said that, I've got Tanner Bruin. And I think
he's a little bit cheaper though. Like he's got the role and he's cheaper. You're not expecting a midfielder to go from like an 80 to a 95. It's a bit of a difference.
Exactly. He's quite a bit cheaper than Connor McDonald. So if I'm either going to be someone like a Hayden Young or a Darcy Parish, who obviously know them, I know their role, I've got their history, I know what they're capable of, and their prices are where they're at, not because they've gone bad, but because they've been hit with injury. So they're still good. We know that they're good players. A good player doesn't become shit overnight. It's just because their bodies have let them down previously. And if you're fit and you're firing, then they can certainly outperform their price points. But with a Connor McDonald at a similar price, who's never done it before, I'm a little bit more, speculative about that, I guess. So if it works for you, great. Not for me personally, just from my own philosophy. But if you want to take that risk because you think that there's certain upside and you love him as a pick, Matt, you love him for certain reasons. And if those reasons have been reality tested and you've had a discussion with someone and they've spoken about those reasons why you love him and you have answers for those, great.
Yep.
Pick him.
And sometimes in Supercoach, sorry for cutting off, Joe. Sometimes in Supercoach, like if you can identify a pod or someone at a lower ownership and they go massive, then you get that advantage. So it's not a bad thing that you can see something different that we can't. It's just like we just can't see it and we don't rate him. But he could go massive, and then hey, in a little while you check us out. So yeah, I think we've actually got our first comment, Joe, from Twitter. There you go. Twitter's up and running. Look at this, Jay Peterman from Twitter. Joe, you look dashing. There you go. There you go. Twitter comments are working, guys. We've got a few people watching online. So if that's you guys, you're not on the YouTube, it looks like comments are now working for you. I know that was a bit of a struggle trying to get that to figured out.
JP, I'm blushing now, JP. You did this. You bugger. I can't handle this flattery. Mate. Can't believe you're here watching us, mate. Absolute superstar. The one and only winner of a trophy for Supercoach. So get around him, JP. You superstar. Follow him on Twitter. He doesn't tweet ever, but still follow him anyway because he is a dead set ledge. Crimson. Hey, gents. A lot of half forwards now move up and around the contest and move around the grounds like mids now. Yeah, so could be scope for that Dawson pick for sure. Collect them all the mid prices. Yes, Spanky, all of them. G-Bags, I can only have Blakey as a pod option in my backline, but I'm a bit unsure after his opening round performance. Do I stick or twist?
Personally, if it was me, I would say change. I think you'll be able to get him cheaper at some point, and it allows you to grab someone like a Jordan Clark who might have that kind of better role. Round 0 is great because it allows us to make these changes, and I think that sometimes it's good. What we saw from this game as well, it was very run heavy, and Nick Blakey wasn't the only one taking the ball out of that back line. And guys like Chad Warner were running through the midfield pretty quickly. So his run and carry maybe wasn't used as much. And I would hate for him to drop like another sub 80 and then you miss out on a big score from someone else at a comparable price. So, yeah, he didn't have an overly bad game, but he just didn't have the scoring compared to some other people.
6 clangers,
yeah,
sort of sucks.
Doesn't help.
Yeah, six clangers for a guy of his ball using ability. He only had the 12 disposals. No, 21. 12 kicks, 9 handballs. Only the 1 kick in. That's not normal. Who took all the kick-ins for the Swans?
Bice took a few.
Mills,
Goulden. Yeah. So Blakey was kind of used as that distributor off the halfback and not the kick-in guy for most of the game. So, yeah, just something different, I think, that what they were trying to try, but it's obviously not been the best for them.
Well, you can factor in that first half, really none of the Swans were firing in that first half. All of them were down at halftime. Heaney was down, Goulden was down. Obviously, Blakey would be down because he didn't really finish on a high score. what was Blakey on to halftime? He was on, 33 points. So the Swans in general were quite ass in the first half and then woke up in the second half. And you would imagine that the second half Swans is what we'll see more of during the course of the year because they are quite stacked. They are, I think, pushing top 4 this year. So with that in mind, you'd anticipate to see more second half than first half. So what did he score in the second half? He scored 38 points in the second half. It's not really great. Then again, they kicked 12 goals in the third quarter. I don't know. I reckon it's best. Sometimes it's good to go with the crowd. And if the Blakey doesn't pop off, again, you could be in a bit of trouble because that's the problem with pods. As great as a pod is when they work, they're quite devastating when they don't work. And at his price, it's interesting. I don't know. And he's got that round 3 bye, that dreaded round 3 bye. I reckon change. Yeah, I reckon change. I love the Liz. I'm sure he'll come good. Maybe he's having a slow start to the year. But yeah, I'd change personally. Michael, g'day to the boys. Eagles to smash the Suns this week. Yes, I have been drinking.
Ooh.
Cheers.
That's a prediction. Tell you what.
No, I don't think he's predicting. He's definitely he's trying to read. He's trying to those tea leaves when you read the teacup. He's trying to read his beer glass. Does Tobias hold this midfield role, or do he and Cogs swap back to their normal position / roles? I really do think both might be an option if it sticks, and possibly even in their normal roles.
Look, I think GWS need a little bit of help through that midfield, especially with some of the injuries. The game's moving much quicker, so that kind of leads favor to like it happening. In terms of Supercoach, though, picking him, I would say no. But I think, they need that pace and stuff through the midfield. So I think he'll have spurts in that position.
That's not a great heat map.
No, it's not.
And he only had, where is he? He had 11% of CBAs. That's not a great split for Cogs. So, Cogs is definitely going to be matchup dependent when he hits the scoreboard, when he scores really well, I guess. And then Toby Green had 67%. So that's a bit better, obviously. That's a lot better for Toby Green having that much of an increase in CBAs. He only had the 50% disposal efficiency. What was how many clangers has he had, Toby? He had 4 clangers. Yeah. He lost 12 points in scaling. So that's not that's not very good. Not for me personally. I think they can very easily change the magnets on the board at the Giants. I do think that they have good depth. I think they'll be better for the run with Finn Callahan.
Yeah.
Having some more time in there. You never know when they might decide to give Rouston a bit more of an opportunity. If you notice that they're if they're starting to struggle to hit the scoreboard for whatever reason, well, Toby's just going to be the first one that goes up there, and potentially a bump to Rouston. I don't know. The Giants, they're a tough one to read, the Giants. They've got so many injuries, and yet they performed so incredibly well. I don't know if that's sustainable. They did play against a pretty weak midfield, the Hawks. I mean, outside of Newcomb, no real stars in that midfield. Obviously missing Day, and it's a big surprise why they thought they could play hardball with the Bombers for over Merritt. I thought he'd be a great fit.
Mark, thank you very much, buddy. Good evening, gentlemen. A rough weekend. My horse, your horse. There were a couple of people not so happy, Mark, about your horse. Uncle Akka yesterday was like, damn, bloody Mark going, but it's going again next weekend to win another one. Yeah, there you go. The Bunnies won. Had a little nice win. Nice work, Mark. Congratulations, mate.
The funny thing is, Mark, we literally had said with Uncle Akka yesterday because he told us that the horse lost. It's just like, oh well, guess that means we're not getting any super chats from you tonight. Of course, you still come through. You are way too generous of a human, Mark.
Thank you very much, buddy.
You are a superstar. LDU, is that a new type of potato?
Yeah.
Maybe. Hey, Chris from
What's up, Chris? How you going, buddy?
How we doing, man? I still don't know what to do in the ruck line. Only thing I know is I'm locking in McAndrew.
Yeah, and I think that's the question for a lot of us, and I think that's why a lot of people have decided to lock in McAndrew at R2. Pick whichever ruckman you want, an English or a Darcy Cameron, whatever it is for the buys, or a Grundy if you're feeling spicy, and you just say, cool, the ruck line takes a little bit of time to figure out what we need to do. We're going to go and just play it safe, pick someone that we know is going to be around the mark, and then go from there. I think might just be the way to go. So you could go Vicentini if you want. I'm not keen on it. Joe can pick him if he wants to. Just feels like one bad game and Sweet's coming back. So as opposed to Mick Andrew and Rob's never coming back, I think they've left him on holiday. So yeah, it's I think that's the plan. Is kind of
they're not dropping Dante. They're not dropping Dante. I've actually been seriously considering this son of a shawarma today because, as we spoke right off the top, the rucks aren't scoring that much. And if the rucks are not scoring that much, they're all going to drop in price. And if they're all going to drop in price, then it means that if we pick someone cheaper who makes money, it can very well be a one up, one down to get there, potentially. So, if Dante scoring 80s at 300k, but someone at 600k is scoring 100, is that $300,000 difference for 20 more points worth it? And remember, Dante does not have an early buy. And if you remember, in my very first preseason team, I had Jordan Sweet as a ruck in my team because of just how juicy of a run Port have. Let me bring it back up, okay? Let me just bring it back up for me, all right? He's got Sherry. Sherry can't jump, all right? You seen that movie White Men Can't Jump? It's a real movie, okay? Check it out. Classic. He's got Sherry. He's then got Blackiston, okay? Then he's got, it's at home as well. Then he's got Flynn at home. Then he's got Nank the Tank. You know why it's called the Tank? Because his Supercoach score is Tank.
Because he can't jump.
Because he can't jump again. And then who he's got? He's got Rowan Marshall or DeConning. You never know. DeConning might be injured at this point. He's played 5 weeks and been banged up. You never know. And then he's got Meek. Meek also can't jump. And then he's got the Cats, who have no ruck. And then he's got McAndrew. He just scored 80-odd on McAndrew. That's fine. And then he's got English. Then he's got Witts. Witts scored 50 points on the weekend. Then he's got Shito. Shito is not scoring 3 goals every week. It's not happening. This is a pretty juicy start to the season, if I may say so myself, for young Dante. Do the people agree or disagree?
The only thing that he's got going for him is the fact that he's hitting down to Butters every week. If he had a worse midfield, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So pick Dante if you want, but then keep your hate messages ready because you're going to be like, Joe, you stuffed up my ruck line. I scored 60 and I'm losing Supercoach because of you. That's it.
Why is he getting dropped? They're gonna beat you. They're gonna beat us. They're gonna beat the Eagles. They're gonna beat Richmond. Why would he get dropped in the first month? They're winning those games. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, That's it.
I reckon. There you go. See, look at Mark. Yes on Dante. I said that you guys jump all over me. What? Nah, we're not jumping on you, Mark. I'm sorry. It wasn't me. It was him. As you can see, Big J is anti-Dante. I am. But as
so.
Spanky says, Joe and Rux has a bad record. Yes. The Rux are
spend 500K on your ruck line. I don't care, fellas. Do what you like. Do what you like.
You can use that money in some insane ways.
Of course. I could just pick a whole midfield, just all the primo. Yeah. Like that's it. Yeah, let's do it.
Because why would you spend?
Let me build the Dante team just for fun.
Would you spend 600K? Isn't that the reason why people aren't picking? Isn't that the reason why they're not people aren't picking Jackson anymore? Because he's a 600K midfielder who's not going to score 120.
Oh, that's it.
Look at this. See, Jordy Perry. If Port don't win their first 4 games, might as well pack up this season. Because if they're not beating North, us, Eagles, and Richmond, if they drop these 4 games, or any of these 4 games, then 100% Josh Carr, the car's faulty. It's stalled and it's not driving anywhere fast. It needs a tow. So yes, I've been tinkering today with a team of Dante and McAndrew.
Rough.
The 2 South Australian boys. Port are not as good as you think they are, but surely they're better than us. Or North, or
they did lose to Adelaide, so
or Richmond. Surely they're better than these guys. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but surely they're better than them. It's a pretty good run for Rux.
I've just spent 550K on a ruck line, and I don't feel good about it.
Remember when Joe said Gorn did his knee, I got rid of Gorn and cost me? Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
There you go, James. Get the receipts, boys. Get the receipts. That's it. Get the receipts.
I didn't just make the claim that Gorn's knees are cooked. I referred to the worm. I referred to the timeline of the game. Clearly, there was enough evidence to suggest that this was a thing, okay? All I can do is read the evidence, and unfortunately, he lied, okay? Gorn lied. Blame Gorn. Port will finish 10th. That's good enough to beat the Eagles, Richmond, Bombers, and North, in my opinion. That's good enough. Joe, you can't go with a no primo ruck line, my friend. All I'm just saying is if you go Dante, who's 300K, right? What does Dante have to average to make it 150? 80?
Yeah.
Everyone duck. Joe's reaching. All right. Well, don't come back to me, guys, down the track when Dante to Sherry is a 1-up, 1-down, and when don't come at me, Chris. Back me up, bro. Chris, back me up. I could see Tobias averaging more than Cozzy. Big call. Tobias has a bye, whereas Cozzy doesn't. You got to think about that one. Zach Stewart's asking about Blackiston or Windsor. Both. I've got both in my team. Windsor seems to be cemented on ball and no early bye. And Blackiston's the number 1 ruck, guaranteed for the first few weeks. So,
yeah, it's a tricky one. I wish Melbourne had had the early bye so you could kind of gauge their team, because I think it would be the trickiest thing.
Okay, and then Zorko is a must. Maybe.
It's interesting. Zorko is very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. I don't know if he is a must-have selection. I wouldn't be banking on it to say he's not. So we just have to wait and see.
He really slowed down in the second half, did he not?
Yeah, he did.
Sorry. It's not that he slowed down. It's just that he just freaking.
Well, I mean, the guy was on 90
nuclear.
at half time. It was on like 90 at half time or 95 at half time. So it's pretty hard to get there, I think.
Pretty nice. How many kick-ins? Who took the kick-ins this game? Would have been him, I assume. Kick-ins. 4 out of 5. Wilmot 4.
And then it was Kadeem Coleman.
Buderick, 7 out of 8. Get around him. Get around him, Buderick.
Good player.
He's a good one. He took 8 kick-ins. How good is that? All right. But yeah, Zorko. Yeah, we sort of said it. As long as Zorko is, as long as he's not dead, he's good. He's alive. Go for it. Go for it. Tell them all to get stuffed. We're picking the needles, man, and he'll be good.
Thank you very much, Maltesing, mate. It was great seeing you yesterday. Yeah, thank you very much.
Congrats on your pies, Maltesing. Glad to see you got home safely. Long trip out to where you are. Bont and McKercher or Ed and Whitfield?
Oh, I'm picking the second one 100%, Kenna. If I had to choose, I'm grabbing the second one 100%. Like, I think Bont's going to be gettable. It's going to cost you a bit to do it, but I think he's going to be pretty gettable. I'm not convinced on McKercher at the moment. Just no, like, limited preseason, things like that. I'd rather lock in 2 guys that I know are probably going to be top 8s of their lines versus a top 8 and then someone who's speculative if I had to. So I would grab the other 2. The only thing that's really saving you with Bont McKercher is because it's Bont, and McKercher doesn't have the early buy. That would be the only thing. But if your buys aren't scuffed that much, Richards covers Bont, Whitfield okay, but it's round 4 buy, so it doesn't really matter too much. I would go the 2 on the right-hand side if it was me.
Yeah. The thing is with Richards is if Richards is the number 1 man, right, and Bont is playing a bit more forward, they're not going to tag Bont. The tag will just go straight to Ed. And Ed has shown in the past that he has struggled with a tag. That's the thing. But I don't mind it. If the tags don't come, then yes, Ed and Whitfield is a great one. Bont will go down in price. Yes, that was never in doubt.
Yeah.
Mark, could you go with 2 cheap rucks? Wow.
Joe might do that. We'll put it
I just presented that idea, Mark. Please let me know if you're interested. Expect the Jitterburst tag this week. Yeah, but if Bont's playing more forward, the tag's not going to Bont. The tag's going to Richards. Also, do they have someone at the moment to tag at the Giants? With Bedford out with injury? I don't think they do tag anymore. I really don't think you'll see spike scores as much as previously years, like captain scores, maybe 115, 120, lock him in. And you may not see these 145 plus that often points across the board. Yep. Possibly.
I think so as well. Chris is asking about a similar thing too, about how because it's 40 odd. Let me find the Chris post. Sorry, Joe. Joe's there. Members league. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Do we think similar to that one? Do we think there's 46 players instead of 44? Less scaling to go around. I think 100%. I mean, we've seen it a little bit now. There's a lot more guys scoring around that kind of 80 to 90 mark and really struggling even with half decent stats to get to 100 plus. Nick Dacos, 41 touches. Yes, there were a few clangers, but should have done a lot better. Even you're on your page right now, Joe, Lockie Neal, 123, 15 contested possessions, 80% disposal efficiency, and still only managed a 123. So the scaling, I think, is probably non-existent for the most part. And you're going to be getting, I almost say similar to AFL fantasy scores, where you rarely see like a monster score. It's always like, cool, they scored 100 or they scored 110, and that's kind of normal. I think we've been gifted a little bit in Supercoach land, and due to the higher number of players on field, we may get, a bit more 100 average and less 120, 130 averages, which obviously means the guys that are priced at that at the moment are actually going to go down.
It's a nice photo of you here, Chris, by the way. Just by the way, I have to comment here. It's a very nice, great lighting. Looks, see your features very well. Look, I personally think the scores will ultimately not be impacting the top players. I think it will be more so the role players who will be affected more than anything. I think if Richard scored a 144 having 30 disposals, I think that's, and 2 goals, that seems to be perfectly fine. If I scroll across here, scroll down to English, scroll down 13. Middle of the table, -16 for Kennedy, -9, -4. Norton got 5. As we're going down, we're seeing a lot more -7, -8, -7, -7, -7, -8, -10. So you're seeing a lot more negatives of the scaling the further down you go, like Gardner, -18, and then the higher up you go, I mean, Zorko's lost 12 points. So that single-handedly blows my argument out of the water. But I'm just going to say, on average, the top guys, I think, will continue to score fine. I think the points will be taken off from the other role players who are unlikely to have high impact plays because they're just role players, they're not stars. Mark, stop giving us your money, Mark. Your horse didn't win. Mark. Hey guys, bloody Humphreys cost me $960. I needed him to get 20 possessions, but he only got 15.
I saw that. There are a couple of people who bet on Humphreys like 20 or 21, and I think he was just off. There you go. Bit rough.
That sucks, man. I'm very sorry about that, Mark. You look, as they say, love the game, not the odds. Rodney, g'day, Rodney. Taking a punt on Worrell and Banks. Have a bank of 200K to trade one out. Should one or both falter?
Banks would probably be the one. I think he'll be okay, but it is just very speculative at the moment, and I think you want to start as many as you can. That would be my only concern, I think. So you can go Banks to Sinclair. You can go Banks to Sinclair with your 200K. I'd be 100% looking at doing
that. Yeah, 100%. Hey, staff. How we doing, Aiden?
What's up, Aiden?
Primo lads, have you guys got in round 3? I keep trying to reduce it. I keep trying to get it to. I want it to be.
I think I'll have like 4. 4. I think I'll have 4. I just need to figure it out.
I think 3. If you can have 3, I think that's great. If you have 4, I think it's fine. You can't have more than. I don't think you can have more than 4. And unfortunately, there are just so many in that buy round that I want. Like, I want all of them. I just want a team full of round 3 buy team. It's so sad, but you have to be uber selective, and you have to be nitpicky. At the moment, at the moment, I've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've got 4 primos at the moment. Anderson, Goulden, English, and Petrarca in round 4. And that's the benefit, I suppose, to a Tristan Sherry. He doesn't have that buy in that week. Anderson, I've gone with him just because, obviously, as I spent the opening run is too good. Goulden, we've sort of spoken about him all preseason. Massive raver of him and the value there. And then Petrarca is Petrarca. He's just undeniable at this point. So, yeah, I think a lot of people are going to have 4. He almost got a 70 on England's Melbourne in the preseason. Yes, it's Tristan Sherry. Yeah. Do we think that? Answer the question. All depends on the roles and mid prices. We have a heap of mid price. I think this question of how many mid prices can we have. Michael, nice to meet you last night. It was a good event.
What's up,
Indeed.
Michael?
Daniel, very rough in the rucks. Maybe have to go rogue. Byzantini and Riccardi. Hello, Riccardi? And just pray they make quick cash.
Don't do that.
And the big boys drop quickly.
Don't do that, mate. Don't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Bloody Riccardi, you're gonna hurt yourself.
You're gonna hurt yourself, buddy. Don't. Yeah, it's not worth it.
Riccardi's got a 111.
Stay away from the light, mate.
Look at Riccardi. He had 75% TOG, 71% disposal efficiency, 111 Supercoach. He look at this. This is pretty, forward of center stuff. He gets the ball and pushes forward. How many center bounces for him? Oliver, Callahan, Briggs was the number 1 ruck. Riccardi only had 9 CBAs. No, get out of town. You can't do that. Get out of town. You can't be doing that. That's just foolhardy.
Yeah.
I had to look at the stats first. Hey, Flash. Good to see you, Flash.
What's up, mate?
Elijah Suarez.
What's up, Elijah? I don't think I've seen you before. So
I was going to say, you look very new. Very fresh. Thoughts on McCarthy in defense?
Look, I don't mind it. The only reason why I don't like the pick is you look at it, right? He's got the early buy, fantastic. Sorry, he doesn't have an early buy, fantastic. He looks to be probably the number 1 or 2 in that the Eagles midfield, fantastic. He runs and kicks goals, fantastic. But I just personally don't see him being top 8 in his position. And to say that, I think, is not a huge thing to say. And I want to pick guys in the back line who are going to be keepers in their position. McCarthy may be a bit of a pod. He might average 100. Fantastic. You're not going to lose out on him too much by not selecting him. That's just my opinion. I don't think you're going to lose out much on him. So I'd rather go a Sinclair or go even like a Jordan Clark potentially, who's going to jump in a bit of cash versus him. And McCarthy's going to get beat up every week, man. Like, it is rough. They play tough midfielders every week. If he couldn't kick goals, then I think it would be it would be even worse. The fact that he can run and kick goals, great. But for me, it's a no. As I'm saying, I'm happy to grab him later on if I'm forced to, being a top pick. But for right now, it's a no.
That's a rough start. I mean,
it's not easy.
Suns, then he's got North, but the midfield at North is where it's at. Port, Butters, and then the Swans.
Joe, I can do really dumb things if I go Vicentini, McAndrew, Coleman, Jones.
Is it nice dumb things? Are they fun dumb things?
Really dumb things.
They're cool dumb things though. Yeah, they're very cool dumb things.
Yeah.
Are they dumb though? Are they dumb?
Well, I've currently got Jagger Smith on bench, so it's pretty dumb.
That's dumb.
That's dumb. I just have him on the bench. I'm trying to find
flex
something.
At least.
Huh? Well, if he's only going to score 60s, you might as well put him on the bench.
Okay, that's the dumbest. We've answered that. Charles, How are we, Charles? Are you doing well? DCAM also mentioned in an interview that he'll be pushed more into events. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
I didn't even hear that.
And that's a big thing too. I think that's where he got a bunch of his scoring from. So, I think that's where a lot of that's come from.
Thoughts on Fonty?
I really like him. I think he's going to be great. He's going to make us a bunch of early cash. If he's the lineup for a Haynes, or if he's lined up to take Sam Taylor's spot, at least for short term, then great. I don't know if he's going to burn you by not selecting him. I wish we got an extra game worth of time for him. How did he go in the Amy series, Joe? Did he have a similar level of scoring or not?
Price? He's 298k. Okay, so not altogether expensive at 298. In the preseason game, he didn't play because Taylor was there.
Yeah, so that'd be my only thing. Sometimes we'll have games where these kind of starting rookies. Yeah, I know. You know what I mean. I meant Sam Taylor.
Hey,
Binger. But yeah, I just think it's could be. I don't. There's a lot of traps in preseason, like Degoe going big. There's a few of these type of players that are probably going to go big, and I don't want you guys to get sucked into too many of them. So maybe Blackiston doesn't work straight away, and you can pivot and grab him for a couple of price rises or something. But I don't know. I'm not going to force it on you.
Very nice of you. Very nice of you. And then Brody. Hey, with
Brody.
The Mr. Bean photo. Love me some Mr. Bean. Hey guys, hope we are finalizing our teams without too many headaches. Thoughts on Colby? Is he still a D3, D4 option, given he's only been out with that finger injury? As a fellow North fan, please remove Daniel.
Yeah. There's a big question, I think. So it really comes... you're taking a bit of a punt on him versus picking someone like a Whitfield. And that's where my question marks come in, because in my head, I'd rather take Whitfield. I'd rather say Whitfield's going to be great, fantastic. We know what we're going to get. We're probably going to get hundreds. He's a lot for top six defender, like he's been for the entire season. Colby McKercher definitely had the run home last year. We do play a lot of much easier teams, but I'm a little bit wary around what his role is going to be in the back line, especially if a Hardiman plays, if a Myers plays as well. And yeah, just kind of that kind of situation. So I want to eliminate the amount of question marks I have to have in my starting team as much as I can. So yeah, it's just kind of how it works out, I think. Pick him if you want to pick him. I'm sure he'll be fine. No early buy is definitely great, but I'm not like 100% set on you must pick him. Otherwise, you're going to lose Supercoach.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, there you go.
We're not going to lose Supercoach because we haven't.
You're not going to lose Supercoach if you don't pick him. Done. Done. Lock it in, Joe.
Hey, Joe, how good did the package look? The fittest I've seen in a long while, and the Verdi also played well. Yeah, man, it's amazing what happens when you play for a team of competitors. You know, a team that's actually competing away from the footy bubble, and where you have a culture of success, I suppose, and high standards, playing for a tough nut in, you know, Kingsley's a man that run through a brick wall for, and they've got a lot of very good players all over the ground. They just simply have to play their role. They're not going there to be the superstars, whereas at the Bombers, you know, they're one of our premier marquee players, and therefore they're held to a certain standard, I suppose, an expectation. But when you play for a team that's stacked and with so much depth, like the Giants, you know, you're just one amongst the others, playing with other stars in your team. And, you know, the rising tide, raises all ships. And with how the standards are and the training and the expectations internally, you either adapt or you die. And those who adapt play on the field, and they look so much better for it. Yeah, exactly. And those that don't, they die. And if he dies, he dies. So yeah, looks great. And we all know contract year Jake Stringer is a different thing. Contract year. Legend. G'day, legend.
Yeah,
Everyone
it played
talking
really
about
well
legend.
into his game style too. If you look at it, they had 3 really good tall targets in Riccardi, Hogan, or even Gruinski. I'm going to call him Gruz. Let's just call him Gruz so I don't bag it too much. It was hard for the opposition to stop all 3. So, yeah, it just worked out well. So let Stringer kind of get off the hook a little bit.
Yeah. Well, he took advantage of the fact that the Hawks were playing like shit as well. That definitely helps. Dean, hey guys, first time questioner. Hey, welcome, Dean.
What's up, Dean? How you going, mate?
Love the show. Excellent. The Supercoach projected price changes showing all player changing in round 3. Aren't round 0 players meant to change in round 2? It's after round 2. So they play round 0,
after round 2.
Round 1, round 2. So after round 2, that would have been their 3rd game.
Yep.
Come round 3, their prices would have changed by then.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if they have a buy in between, then it doesn't really count. But yeah.
Exactly.
Let me know down in the comments, guys, if you guys want to see my dumb team that I made with Vicentini and McAndrew.
Bro, show us the dumb team already. It's probably going to be Smixy.
All right.
Adamo, Collingwood is so old and so slow. The only way they can compete all year with the new speed of the game is to do exactly what they did last night and chip it around the back line. Josh Dacos is a lock, but there was no how, and there was no more.
Yep.
And if he's a lock, well, what makes him a lock more than
Danny
Maynard?
Yeah.
Or Pendles or Crisp or Houston. Like, these guys are all in that back line and they're all tonned up very nicely and they're all cheaper than Dacos. So that's the thing. I don't know how much you can read into that. I think they played it that way because they knew to beat the Saints, make them defend higher up the ground. The Saints, the way they defend is they just flood everybody back into the back line to clog it up and then run. So what do? Well, we're not going to play into your hands. We're going to possess the ball here, and we're going to make you come to us and create space to attack. Because the Saints can't do that. The Saints are there are one mode of defending, which is flood back, and then once we get the ball, let's all run forward. It's not a sophisticated style. Collingwood's maturity and better coaching, frankly, allowed them to dismantle the Saints.
This is my Dante Vicentini ruckline team. Let me quickly, if I can pull it up, make it a bit bigger for you guys to see better. There's not much cash in the bank. I can't really do much with that. Sinclair, Rosie, McKercher, Blackiston, backline. Sarong, Jakes, Lindsay, Michael Selwood. Jakes, his name's Jakes. Michael Selwood, backline. Butters, Dacos, Anderson, Ed Richards, Goulden, Sam Walsh, midfield, alongside Hayden Young and Tanner Bruin. So no rookies on field. Jagger Smith on the bench, get in. Carroll and then Blamires. Vicentini, McAndrew there. Callum Coleman-Jones at R3, Joe, if you do what you want to say. Sheasel, Petrarca, Flanders, Connor Buderick, Philippou, Lombard, Roses, Robbo, and Doveston. So
you have Doveston on field and not Jagger Smith. Tell me about
I don't have a midfielder. I don't have DPP to make it work. I don't have the DPP.
For North Melbourne without telling me about for North Melbourne.
I just don't have the DPP. I mean, I could put Jagger Smith here, but I don't have the player to put him in here. So, yeah, give him the grand prize. It's already over. Well, potentially, we'll see what happens. You only need, if you look at these teams, right, you only need like 2 of these guys to go off and a couple of upgrades and then the midfield to do okay. And everyone else is top 8, hopefully. So it could work out okay.
Young makes money. Bruin makes money. Like Young and Bruin is a primo, right? Like Young and Bruin is a primo. You can have
Potentially.
you'll maybe have
So
your
I've got a
three
full
rookies.
midfield already.
Yeah, like your three rookies on the bench gets you your last primo.
Yep.
Vizentini and Coleman Jones might get you a primo in the ruck. McAndrew and Doveston could get you your second primo in the ruck.
Yep.
You know, like it's it could work if Vizentini and McAndrew both hold their spots in the team. Obviously, it's a risk, but if they
Of
hold their
course.
spot,
I'm not
but if
going to
they
do it. I'm not going to do it, but it'd be fun. Like, yeah, it's just something cool. If I had Artie Jones here, I could totally do a swap around, but unfortunately he's injured. So
you could have Finn McRae
you
instead
know
of
what I
Carroll.
can? Oh, you know what I can do? I want to see if I can do it. So, Petrarca to flex, Petrarca to here. We want Jagger Smith's on field, and then Tanner Bruin can go. Can go on the bench.
Oh,
There you go,
this is stupid. All right,
there you go. It's worked out okay for me.
That's so silly.
Yeah, so you can do some weird stuff when you're only spending 500K in your ruck line this year. I don't know if McKirch is going to be the safest pick, but 1, 2, let's say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 primos. Like, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Bro, this is the definition of a second team that you have. Like you have your team, and then you have wife's team, or grandma's team, or nephew's team. Like this is the high risk, high reward of this is the perfect example of. Oh,
I don't even know what the buy rounds are like. What's the buy rounds?
My brother's playing Supercoach for the first time this year.
Yeah, get him to make this team. Done. Locked in, Joe. Vicentini, R3. It's not even that bad. Like, Hayden Young does okay. Chuck him in.
No, you're not allowed to.
You're not supposed to.
That's why it's not you making it. It's your
round 3 kind of sucks. 3 here, 2 here. A lot
not
out
endorsing
here.
that.
But we can
not endorsing that strategy. Okay, that's not endorsing that strategy.
Yeah. Hey, otherwise it's all right. Not too bad. So yeah, you can just come up with some weird stuff, man. If you want to. Yeah, and this unfortunately is the year that we're in at the moment with McAndrew being a viable pick at R2. You can take a punt on a crappy R1, and there's a world where if he scores 80s is like 450K. So cool. You just go 80s for a while, and then hey presto, how you doing? So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Hey presto, how you doing?
Yeah, there you go. Smash out a few more of these questions.
James happy with Broderick.
Hey, me too. He's currently going 105.
Broderick, I think you mean.
Broderick.
Guys, J20. He's only there just taking advantage of Taylor being out, and I just don't know if he's going to stay out. So, yeah, it's too much of an uncertainty for me. XPXPA.
What's up, mate?
CPXPA. CPXPA. So, not sure on Neil or Brayshaw. Love the look of Neil, but Brayshaw has no early buy thoughts. Also, is Zorko viable at D3?
Zorko, yes. I don't think you're going to get any other round 2 players in the back line, so the early buy doesn't matter too much. You're going to have coverage regardless. You're just picking a 37-year-old player. That just comes with its own problems there. But it looks like, at least from yesterday or Saturday's game, he's got the role still. Kadeem Coleman, Marshall, who at Fletcher aren't really taking points off him. We saw that by the 95 in the first half, which was bonkers. Brayshaw does have an early-ish run, and I would say try and take advantage of someone from Freo, be it Sarong, be it Brayshaw, or be it Hayden Young, because they do have a half-decent run, and I think taking advantage of that would be good. But it's just about being able to fit into these players. like fitting these players into your team. So that's the only thing. Yeah, Neil looks good too. Neil looks good. Last week went big. This week went big. Redemption arc obviously doesn't have, I'm gonna say, family stuff going on, which definitely hurts. But yeah, they play the Cats first, and they play Melbourne. You'd think that they beat up on Melbourne pretty easy. I think like post round 5, it really opens up with a couple of easy teams happening. So yeah, it's not too bad. You probably just the thing with Brayshaw, like Sarong has some form of value just being a little bit cheaper. But the thing with Brayshaw is maybe he gets to like 20K more expensive, but that's it. Versus Sarong, that will still make you some money, and there's upside to picking him now versus picking him later if he goes big. So it's quite tough.
Also, what's your Facebook page? Yeah, I think you might have already got that.
Yeah.
The Facebook page is...
Yeah, it's up.
The banner's ticking away, uncovering our Facebook page.
Sorry, guys. If you jump just on the YouTube channel, you'll have a community post there with links to the Twitter and to the Facebook page where you guys can post your teams. So on Wednesday, probably from about 8 o'clock, because I'm playing sports beforehand, we'll just be doing rate your teams. So yeah, should be good.
What do you guys get, Patrick? Who do you guys think we're going to flag first?
Look, I personally, so Joe will probably say North Melbourne, but I reckon the Bombers, just for the fact that you guys look a little bit less dysfunctional than what we do, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Like if we got our back line okay, we grabbed a couple of players, we'd be all right. But we've still got a long way to go. And slowly, you guys are building through the draft and blooding the kids. And less pressure on Brad Scott, I think, than what Clarko's on. Because Clarko might be gone by the end of the year. 4th year into a system where he's been bottom like 3 every single year. It's not great for him.
Yeah, I just think you guys have not nailed your draft in the recent years, whereas ever since we finally got rid of Dodoro, we have.
Yeah, the Dersma draft wasn't great, and then a couple of others haven't been great either. And it's like MSD's kind of saved our butts a little bit, but there's still big deficiencies in the team, and our senior players maybe aren't as good as what you guys are.
Now, having said that, neither team is going to win one anytime soon. We're not talking, we're talking maybe 15 years and 20 years, or I don't know. We're not realistic. I think if we were to ever have a tilt in coming years, it's because something disastrous has happened to other clubs where they've suddenly lost their talent, whereas Brisbane is stacked, Gold Coast is stacked. If these guys were to be raided, for example, by Tassie, and the talent pool becomes sort of split out a bit more, because no one's raiding the Bombers, right, for our talent. So if those big clubs get raided, Fredo win first flag before, right?
Potentially, I have something to say about this too.
But you guys aren't in the conversation. Oh, Grok's on your side. North Melbourne appears to be close to the next AFL Grand Final, based on a combination of their more advanced rebuild timeline, superior young talent depth, and emerging signs of list cohesion under coach Alistair Clarkson. While both clubs are entrenched in multi-year rebuilds and face similar short-term challenges such as low win projections and long shot premiership odds for 26, the Kangaroos' accumulation of high-end draft picks over recent seasons positions them for a potentially sharper upward trajectory in the coming years.
And we have Harry Sheezel.
Correct. By contrast, is only now fully committing to a youth-focused reset after injury-ravaged campaigns, which may delay their contention. So even Grok admits that the Bombers are cursed with injuries. Okay, there you go. Even Grok. Thank you for coming.
What's up, Geordie?
Thoughts on Jack Steele?
Look, it's a no from me. I think our forward line, our midfield is slowly getting taken up by players who are becoming must-haves. Even for the likes of Sam Walsh, Errol Goulden, and then you've got all your cheaper guys that look to be able to be pumping out big numbers. If Jack Steele had round 0, I would be a lot more inclined to say, okay, no worries. But he just hasn't. And I think you want to be picking as many certain picks as you can. His price is really weird as well. So if you don't have enough cash to go up to a Goulden or a Sam Walsh to start the season, like your only outlet really is like Clayton Oliver. And cool, it's Clayton Oliver. You should be okay. But I want to pick a player who I know are going to be really good, not a player who I might like. I'm half considering getting rid of straight away. So that's the only issue, I think. Yeah. What do you think, Elijah? Do you like him or you don't like him?
I personally like Clary a bit more. Clary's 28 years old, in the prime of his career, and he had 85% time on ground. He had 85% TOG. And I was just looking at this before, if the thing would load. But I was looking at Clayton Oliver when he plays with 80+% time on ground, which suggests that he's fit. Look at him. In the seasons where his time on ground is over 80%, he averaged a 123 in 23. In 22, he averaged a 128. In 21, he averaged a 125. So his time on ground in the seasons where he's had 80+% are all very promising. And the guy's still only in 28. He's still only 28 years old.
And post by GWS is pretty good too.
100% playing for the Giants, among other stars. He's just there to enjoy his footy, and it looks like he's enjoying his footy. He's covering the ground well. He's smiling. He got a nice, ease into the season in destroying the Hawks, who didn't really have much of a contest for him. And as we say, his post-run buy is quite free as well. So, yeah, I actually, for 500K, there's a lot of value in this pick, and I am very seriously considering him.
Yeah. I would almost say, like, if you had the extra 110K floating around, a Clary selection might even be better than Hayden Young to start the season, just with how he's looking. But it's a big thing to say.
It is, but at the same time, not entirely outrageous, because this guy could very well be your M8 for the year, whereas Hayden Young is someone that you are planning on trading out.
Unless he gets back to 110 plus Hayden Young. But...
Unless. And he plays the whole season, doesn't get injured and whatnot.
That's it.
So there's a few things there. I love Lizard for my team, but change to Clark. Yeah.
And I assume that's a bit scared from him, like, not scoring great in the preseason game, and you having to be like, well, I can get him cheaper later on. So,
Yep. I have Big Dacos in my back line. Hey, very nice. Spanky, very nice. Bit of spicy there.
Chuck him in there if you want to. There's been talk all preseason about him doing it. It's just, if you actually watch the game, for about 10 minutes left in the last quarter, they were just chip kicking across the back line. So he had the role, he had the scoring, but a lot of the backline players for Josh Dacos, a lot of the backline players for Collingwood are a little bit inflated their scoring. Joe checks out Essendon.
I'm pretty happy with how my team is looking, just down to a few decisions. Give me your thoughts on Heaney versus Richards. Been high on both all pre-season.
Heaney versus Richards.
I haven't been able to have both in my team, as both have the round 3 bye. Heaney was great in the second half, but wasn't looking great in the first half before. Well,
No.
it knocked some sense into him, clearly.
Yeah. Which one? I have a little bit of a prediction that I think we may be getting Heaney DPP at some point. I'm not sure exactly of what his mid minutes were like, but it looks like he was getting quite a bit more mid time. Sorry, a bit more forward time, which would affect his ability to be in my team to start with. Because I'm like, well, if you're going to do that, you're not going to score as well. Only scored the 89. Was a pretty average game from him. 72% CBAs, maybe. Look, I don't know. I don't know. It's a hard question.
I think Richards, you know what the role is for Richards, which is that he's primarily going to be a centre bounce midfielder, on baller. Whereas with Heaney, you know that this guy is also such an amazing forward that if need be, they could rest him there and play him at forward if they needed to do that. Richards, you just know his role is sort of cemented that he's an on-baller. If the person who's going to play more forward for the Doggies from that midfield, be the Bond or Kennedy, it wouldn't be Richards. So at the same time, if Richards is on ball whilst Bond is forward, you know Richards is going to cop a tag. With the Swans, you don't know. Who do you send the tag to? Do you send the tag to Heaney or do you send the tag to Goulden? It's a bit harder to decide. So, who's cheaper? Heaney. Go with Heaney Dog. If Heaney's cheaper,
I don't mind Ed Richards, to be honest. I think Richards.
Don't mind Ed Richards either.
I think Richards is slowly building, and I think Bond's going to cop a bit more attention this year. So I think Ed Richards has more of a chance to submarine and disappear during the game versus what Bond has. So, yeah.
Lads.
What's up, Initiator? How you going, mate?
Giants also a bit of depth. Correct. Yeah, 100%. Correct. Richards was on fire against Brisbane at the Gabba. If he's going to be the number one mid, then I want him. Can't split him and Heaney. Yeah.
There you go.
He's the number one mid again. If he's let's have a look at the fixture again, the Doggies. If I recall correctly, I don't know why. I feel like there are a bunch of tagging options to come. So, Giants. Is Bedford back? When does Bedford come back?
Not. I don't think it's super early.
GWS. This is 1 week. Hello? Excuse me?
Maybe.
When was this? This was March 3rd. This was last week. So Bedford could be back this week. If Bedford is in the team, you know he's going straight to Richards, if Richards is there. So, okay, that's a tag from. I mean, I don't think they have anyone that can run with him, but they might put Berry on him. Doggies, 150 price right here in this game. He's going 150. Hawks, they don't tag. Or they could play a defensive, like Nash could play a defensive role potentially. You know, these guys will tag. These guys will double tag, in fact. Swans, James Jordan, Rio tagging these days. Warner potentially. Wagner.
Yeah, or Wagner. Yeah, Wagner probably will.
Could go. Could run with him. So yeah, potentially a tag here. Or Willem Drew. He's probably their tagger, but we don't know if Carr. It's in his style to tag. But historically, Willem Drew would be given a task. The Blues. Hewitt's a pretty good shutdown mid himself. They don't have Chincotta, obviously, but Melbourne, unlikely to tag. Yeah, so quite a few tags, potentially. Quite a few tags, especially round 6, round 7. He's copping Mullen into Jordan. That's not nice. Back-to-back weeks, fairly early on. So
That's not nice, guys.
that's not nice.
That's not nice.
I don't envy him. Let's just say.
What's
Evening, Simi. Good to see you.
up, mate?
How many opening round guys are you rolling? I've got 14.
Yeah,
Opening
I don't
guys.
mind. Sorry, Joe. You go first.
You go for it. Yeah.
I don't mind. Like, a few people are saying, "Oh, don't pick so many. Doesn't matter." I think last year we overestimated how dangerous the opening round was, and this year maybe we're going completely the opposite way. But I'm more than happy to run as many as you want to run and just kind of go from there. I think, like, as long as you've obviously got 18, if you've got 20 to 21 in each week, I think you're great. The midfield for round 3 obviously is a bum. Like, it sucks. But outside of that, the other 2 rounds really aren't as punishing. So I think a lot of people are going to be in that kind of position. I don't believe people that have no round 0 like players are going to do better those weeks than the ones that do. Just for the fact that the round 0 teams have so many really good players in them that the round 0 guys through those 4 weeks, they're not going to make up huge amounts of ground because you've got Brayshaw and I have like a rookie on field that week. Because potentially that could be the week that Jagger Smith goes 90 against Richmond or something like that. And then it's like, oh, well, cool. You scored 110, I scored 90. It's 20 points. Who cares? Like, my primo is going to smash you from then on. So, yeah, I don't think it's that bad. If you've got like 3 out from each line, probably not the best thing. But outside of that, I wouldn't care too much. You can have 3 out in the back line. I know our community team currently has that, but then the guys on the bench are covering for those anyway. So it's 1 week. Cool. I've got 1 less primo than everyone. It's not the worst thing. And I wouldn't be preaching to people saying, hey, make sure that you've only got 2 round 2 rookies or 2 whatever rookies, because it all primos, because it's not going to affect you, I think, as much as what some people have been preaching a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, Sinclair. If Sinclair's going 140s, you pick him. Like, doesn't matter if he has the buy in round 4. You just pick him because, all right, you might have a Jordan Clark who doesn't have an early buy, but I still think Sinclair scores more points for you than him, even with that week off. Such is the discrepancy. You just got to pick the best of the best that works with your structure without being necessarily altogether too invested in one particular round. I think that's why I think there is an appeal to the Saints defenders, even the Giants, especially the Giants, because the Giants share only 1 team on their buy in round 4, and then they only share 1 other team with their other buy in round 13. So it's very easy to load up on some more Giants players because it's unlikely you're going to have any Richmond primos in your team. And, you might, obviously round 4 might be a bit of a hit if you've got Whitfield and Sinclair, and then you factor in your Filippo and Flanders. But everyone's got Filippo and Flanders, and then everyone's going to have Sinclair as well. So really, you're not being disadvantaged in any way, shape, or form if you load up on round 4. I don't think so. Yeah, happy to have the Giants, but and that's another reason why I think Clary is a pretty good pick in that midfield. He doesn't overlap with any other midfielder primos for you in either round 4 or round 13. So that's a bit of a another benefit to have, and that's why a lot of people were on Finn Callahan watch because of the upside, because of the role, because of his scoring, but also because of how beneficial it is for those buys. You're not really stacking up in the midfield. in either of those buy rounds.
Yeah.
Big J is going to go Cox. Yeah, you better go Cox, mate. You gotta go Cox, mate. You gotta. When it comes to the rucks, put the best 2 ruckmen of last year. Right, we're not starting Gordon Sherry. Are you starting Gordon Sherry, James?
No, that's a no from me. I'm sorry. Like you've at least seen with Cherry in his Amy practice match that he just can't do it. And I've seen him at training. To be honest, he looks so slow running around. Like maybe it's just training. Like who cares? But I've seen him at training, and like he's gonna struggle, bro. It is rough. The beautiful thing is with the ruck rules, you go super cheap, and then you figure it out afterwards. I think that's what a few people are going to do. Lock in the locks and figure it out after.
Yeah, I think if we had seen no opening round play and no preseason play, then I think the sensible route would be to pay up in the rucks. Because if you're going in blind, by paying up, you can always rectify and go down and free up the money. But we are in a position where I think we've got a large enough sample size to see enough games, see enough of the ruckman scoring to notice that there has been certainly a reduction in stoppages and therefore a reduction in the ruck's output. If we hadn't seen any of those games, then yes, common sense and sensibility would say start expensive and then go down. But we have got data, and we can clearly see that it might not be wise to overinvest in the rucks when you can see that, hey, they're dropping in price, their output isn't that great, and you could very well... Yeah, they're not quick enough. They're not going to get to they're not going to get to all of the ruck contests. They're going to be less ruck contests because of the last disposal out of bounds. And you can't just rely on hitouts. These rucks have to be mobile enough to get disposals. Because if they only rely on hitouts, look at Jared Witts. Let me pull up that Suns v.
It wasn't great.
Cats game again. I mean, of a player, a ruckman rely on hitouts. I think that's Jared Witts to a T. The guy he scored 71 Supercoach, right? Off of how many hitouts? 50 something hitouts.
Yeah, Grundy wasn't great either. Grundy got 40 something hitouts and only scored like 100.
Yeah, 52 hitouts, right?
And this is for Gold Coast.
Their
hitouts to advantage are pretty gnarly.
He had 52 hitouts and he only scored the 71. So hitouts, you clearly can't be reliant on hitouts. You have to be basically an extra midfielder, because if you are reliant on hitouts to get you your scoring, I'm sorry, it's not going to be enough. Stoppages are reduced, and you're not guaranteed to have all of them be to advantage. So, yeah, I think we've gotten enough data to suggest you don't have to overinvest in the rucks. Initiator, happy birthday! You didn't bother telling us.
Initiator actually changed. He changed his display picture too. So there you go.
I haven't seen that just yet. The two primo ruck. I think you're right, because the only ones worth starting are so expensive that they're not going to match the output of their price, because they're all priced at last year's game with last year's rules and last year's style. It's now an entirely different game, and they're not going to be able to match that output. So yes, I think, and with a lot of early buys, a lot of best 18, and then a lot of options. There are a lot more cheaper options for you to pivot to, like your Mason Coxes, for example, like your Dante Vizentinis. There's a few CCJ even. There's a bunch of players that you can trade to, that if it doesn't work out, then there are exit strategies. And as long as he plays round 1, you're fine. Because after that, you've got 2, 3, and 4 of best 18 anyway. So it's not a risk like it used to be. If anything, it seems to be the more optimal play.
Supercoach Insider, how you going, mate? Nice to see you, Ben.
Benny boy. How are you, Benny? I'm not sure. Is this Ben or Swizz?
Oh, one of the two. Let us know.
I'm not sure if Swizz has access to the login.
Who knows, mate.
But if we're getting long answers, then we know it's Ben. Jordy, yes, we already read that. Initiator McAndrew doesn't have an early buy either. And if Black,
you know who doesn't have the early buy? Vicentini.
Ooh, Dante. Yeah, well, what? Right, you can't get excited about Dante. All right, you can't. He's my boy. He's my boy.
Nah, it's too late. Lock it in.
Is he in the ruck? No way. You can't. How do you double? Do you mean double Z? Yes, I have him at R3 at the moment. Okay, my head's about to explode. Just calm it down, Maltesing. Don't explode. Do you know the background of Davies, rookie for Fremantle? I think backline.
No, I got no idea. But you don't want to be you don't want to be looking for yeah, I don't know. I got no idea. I don't think he's going to play.
Never heard of him. I have Dante in my team. Yes, boy. On your Mikey. All right, now we got to the Bricks Pitto. Get out of here. That's not happening, mate. Not happening at all. Port will finish 10th. I saw that. Joe, you were right, by the way. DCAM was 63 at halftime. Thank you. Also, I think Sicily might score well this year. 1, if the Dorks are fading, then Sicily will be the only player that would be consistent. 2, he is fit this year. First in intercepts and first for disposal efficiency. Thoughts? Giants v Hawks. Let's pull it up. The thing is, Sicily was not really a pick last year. Nothing's changed in that back line, to my eye. It's still the same mix back there. Why is it all of a sudden that he is...
Well, like, the other ones just weren't doing very well. Battle and Barras kept running into each other. Sicily took a few... Well, check out 14 intercepts, Joe. Like, that's not going to happen all the time. Yeah, I think it was just a one-off, really.
That's a nice quarter. 67.
Yeah.
7 points.
I think it was a bit of a one-off, to be honest. So, yeah.
Yeah, it could. How did he do in the preseason? Hawks v Doggies. Let's have a look. How did he do in the preseason? In the preseason, he scored 61 points. Oh, yeah, it's I can't go there. Not after what I saw last year. There's just too many chefs in the kitchen, I think, in that Hawks team. For my liking. Yeah, but Sicily also has the round 3 bye. Yeah, exactly. That dreaded round 3 bye.
Another one.
We the best we the best bye players. Hey, Das!
What's up? How you going, mate?
You don't win by playing it safe. Yes. Hey, Slam, are you on it with me? Are you also on Dante? Come on, bro. Love your content. Absolutely loving the work. If you guys haven't followed Slam Talk Sport, he is a wonderful guy. I'm not saying it just because he's an Essendon supporter. He is actually a very wonderful guy. And Zorko, last 2 years, most said no thanks. He kills 100%. That's why we're not saying no.
Yeah.
We're not saying no. FTR TV has an LDU owner support channel.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to go there at some point.
That's pretty fun.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
That was really good. James, did you see Richards do more? Hard to see him do any more than what he did on the weekend. That was a sensational performance. The guy had, 30 disposals, 30 disposals, barely
It
two
was really
bangers and
good.
2 goals.
It was really good. And you could see, like, I think the beautiful thing about Ed Richards is the fact that Bontempelli can go and play different roles, whereas Richards is only really mid. So, like, when they need to go and move people around, it's not going to be that type of player, you know? It won't be him, and
Yeah.
then he'll end up scoring really well.
3 on the bench to find D8, M10, 11. To fund. So you got 577k in the bank, and you want a D8 and M10 and M11.
Selwood's really good if you don't have Michael Selwood. I think he'll play. M10, M11 is probably at the moment, it's probably a Jack Carroll and maybe Blomeyers. Or
Grill,
take one of
Barrow.
those two and then figure out what you're doing and throw around some extra cash.
It's a lot of money for 3 bench players.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of money.
There were 46 players last year, just 2 were subs. Don't give me this rubbish.
Yeah, but it's very, very different when the subs, start taking points from the start of the game, buddy. It's not the same game as before.
Yeah, it's not the same, correct. It's hard to articulate exactly why, because yes, it's the same number of players on the field at all points, yes, but they could be played differently. It's not like you're bringing in a sub, because once you bring in a sub, the person being subbed out cannot come back on anymore. But in today's day and age, they can come in and out. So you can have a number of different iterations of who's on your bench and who's on your field at any point in time. Whereas last year, when you had the sub, you were guaranteed, okay, this player is not starting. You know for a fact this player is not on the field. And then at some point, one player will be removed and this other player comes on for them. So if anything, it's an extension of the same player. You know what I mean? Whereas with today, because anyone can come on and off at the same time, you do have extra players on, it's not extra players on the field, but you've got extra people, extra scores being counted towards, I guess, is what I'll say. Geordie, I said this in the comments of you Dogs v Lions review, Big J. I'm not overthinking Bond. The way I see it, either Bont was playing more forward as that was working against Brisbane, or that was the role Bont will be playing this year, and I get him as a forward DPP in round 6.
Yeah, it's in my head, it's just more questioning, hey, what's going to happen in terms of if you look at the early outs for that game, Croft, I don't think played much of the second half or wasn't very effective in the second half. So I think potentially him getting injured changed a few things around. Same can be said about Neil, right? McCluggage was out for a while. Neil went big. It could be the same thing with Croft as well. So maybe that's a factor, and then next week it doesn't happen. But we just need to wait and see to see if that's going to be the case or not.
Yes, Crimson. Thank you very much. There you go. That's a bit more. That's articulated a little bit better. So you have extra rotations. You mean fresher players on the field, cleaner skills, more points needed to be shared, because obviously the cap of the 3,300 is still a thing.
Yeah,
but you've now got more players.
It's now by fresher, 46 instead of 44.
Yeah, coming in, and what they're doing needs to be rewarded, and that obviously therefore eats into the rucks, which used to be more of a star factor, but now rucks are certainly just been, I suppose they've been reduced to more of a role player role in the game. It's now a lot more favouring the mids and the halfbacks as transition players. And if anything, we're also seeing now a bump in scoring for the half forwards. the half forwards are what are really benefiting the most because the ball is pinging around, and those high half forwards can be used either for lead up passes, hit ups to then kick inside forward 50, or they're applying pressure, getting free kicks, or holding the ball, or for intercepts. You know what I mean? So it's there you go. And Mark, again, you don't have to pay us money to read your comments, but thank you very much. Scott Pendlebury, half a quarter for each quarter. Exactly. So,
and he's going to be getting fed the entire game, and I hate it. I hate it. It sucks. Boomer's record's going to go, barring major injury. He's just going to be given 10 minutes every week.
He has changed his profile. Nice.
Yeah, I told you.
Good one. Coaches are going to experiment with keeping players on the bench to manage minutes, like Cox did with Papley, not playing for the first 20 minutes. Yes, that's right. I thought teams would experiment with an extra ruck. No, there's no benefit to having a second ruckman out there. That you want speed. You want what you're seeing is a lot more of the forwards, the athletic forwards, being played as the second ruck because you want speed on the ball. You're having less stoppages. It's becoming more transition. Why would you double down and add more tall, lumbering players, especially in circumstances where even if there is a stoppage, like a ball up or a throw in, they're not waiting for the rucks to get there. You're either there or bad luck. We're playing without you. So, yeah, they're not going to. I never quite understood the idea that they'll play two rucks.
I still think some teams are going to potentially do it, but I don't think it's going to be a case of, okay, they're only going to play 10 minutes of game time. We saw with Collingwood, they definitely had a second ruck alongside Cameron, one of the younger kids, but he also played a lot of forwards. So I think that's more what it's going to be. That's what Carlton are trying to do with Liam Reedy. He just can't play anywhere else, so it kind of sucks. Next week, we may see a Ned Reeves and Lloyd Meek combination. So I think Joe's, at least in my opinion, is oversimplifying it a little bit too much. It's more based on who's available personnel-wise for each team.
Oh, obviously, if the only players you can play are the players that you have that are available.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So, like, if your team can't do it, you won't do it. So, yeah.
That's pretty funny. Ed Richards, I love, but see an issue in 3 to 5 weeks. Injury? What? No. You're predicting an injury in 3 to 5 weeks for Ed Richards? Interesting, Spanky. I'm predicting a lot of bad tags, not injuries. I had to pull over on the freeway. I was shaking. Lol, I left at halftime and I was so hypo, and you guys need a crazy old lady Spy supporter poster going mental. Not a good look. Hey, Maltesing, we are. I love me my mental any supporter. I love a mental footy fan. They're right up my alley. I love my footy just as much as the next bloke. Jagger Smith is in my flex. Yep, very nice. Petrarca I saw in the Suns v Cats game reminded me of the Petrarca we saw in 2020 preseason. It obviously broke out in that season. Looks like
1,000%. 1,000%. 100 million %. I think we're going to see Petrarca back to his best. I think we're all going to be ready to go for it. I think we might see Oliver back to his best as well. And it's going to suck for Melbourne fans because they lost 2 superstar guns that you'll end up looking back, and the only thing they hated was the attitude of the club, which is something really sad to see, I think.
Yeah, they're not really missing them because they didn't have it last year, and it's unlikely that they were going to recapture that love. Sometimes people need to get that breath of fresh air and that new environment to get the best out of themselves. And I think they did all right to capitalize on trading them out, embrace the rebuild. They have to. I mean, Tassie's coming around the corner. You don't have a lot of time to stock up on those draft picks before they get there. So they know they're not contending right now. So it just makes sense. Just embrace the rebuild, get all of those draft picks out of the Suns. I'm also shocked at how the Suns were able to pull all this shit off. It just makes no sense. I think the Demons did the right thing in doing that trade, especially the Petrarca one with the Suns. But I have just no idea how the AFL could allow the Suns to be able to do all
Well,
this
and
shit.
now they've changed the rules, right? So it's a lot
Yeah.
harder for teams to do it. So
It makes no sense that they could pick up the likes. They could trade away three first rounders basically to get Petrarca, and you add a former number 1 draft pick in Jamara, and at the same time they get 5 picks in the top 18 of the draft. How is that? How does that make any sense in any way, shape, or form? It's ridiculous. And then they even changed. They used to be always on draft night, you would see the points being used to match the bids. Of course, this year they took it away. So you have no idea how the shenanigans took place behind the scenes. I don't know. It's it all smells like corruption to me. And now the AFL have given Gold Coast everything they want, and that's it. Now the Gold Coast are set for the next decade, which is ridiculous. Okay, guys, have the Pies given the other times shown how to play NAS, or did they get out coached?
I think they kind of found out how to beat him, really, and I think other clubs are going to be playing very similar.
The problem with the thing is, when you tag a great midfielder, a lot of the times they'll push you. They'll go forward to take their tagger with them into the back line. And a lot of times your tagger is another midfielder who doesn't like to defend one-on-one. The problem that Nazaya had was that he was on Perryman. Perryman knows how to defend. So him trying to break the tag by going forward didn't work because Perryman could defend him one-on-one in the forward line. And the goal that Nazaya kicked happened to be when he had that separation from Perryman, who was on the bench trying to get back onto the field. So the problem with Nazaya is if he's going to run into other tags like that, where the tagger is comfortable playing as a defender, he won't be able to break the tag that way. So what they're going to have to do in those circumstances, they'll have to try and put blocks on him. They're going to have to try and defend and create space for Nas. But if that doesn't work, then Nas is going to have to go behind the ball. And if Nas goes behind the ball, that unfortunately eats into Sinclair as well. And neither of them become picks at that point. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking. It's a little bit nerve-wracking as to see how they can manage that. I'm good, yeah. Binger. How are you doing, mate? Here you go. Did CCJ get scaled 16 points in that preseason game? If so, maybe because Sherry didn't play much in the last and it was a close game. In season, Sherry would be the ruck in the last quarter.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, I mean, like, I think typically he only played when Sherry wasn't there, like on field. Maybe that's the setup they'll try and do and limit the amount of like slower players that North Melbourne have. I can totally see them trying to do that. But it is just a big wait and see, I think.
Yeah. I know that's a few other mistakes. Mate, you know, Jez has a thing with names, okay? Dylan and Darcy Moore. All right, leave him alone. Okay, guys, the Pies. Okay, sorry. Yeah, we'll just answer that question. Nas will be tagged. You would think so. Yes. Tex, with everyone fading rucks, have we considered what happens if Gorn and Sherry start hot?
Yeah, but you look at the scoring of the ruckman now. I mean, we've had 5 Amy games. Well, not 5 Amy games. Sorry, 5 round 0 games to have a look at it. And I don't think a single ruckman scored 120, like across the board. So something's affecting the ruckman negatively like that. And I don't think it's crazy to think, okay, maybe Cherry and Gorn are going to do something similar, which means that they're going to drop in price. So as long as you can like have capable ruckmen in different positions, I don't think it's going to hurt you too much. We've seen in previous years where, yes, people have gone to Flynn or a Briggs or whatever, and then they've actually done quite well because the rest of their team's been a bit stronger. I mean, if I look at my team at the moment, just fluffing around with it, I do have Mason Cox at R3, as everyone's tried to get me to do. We'll see what happens. but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like you're getting there in terms of upgrades. Your team and your structure and everything's still pretty decent. So it's not the end of the world to be like, well, I don't necessarily know what's going to happen to the rucks. Let me fill out my team somewhere else, have people who can score 80s and 90s pretty easily, and then reassess, because maybe I'm only losing 20 points, but it gets me an extra midfielder and I get a 113 or a 120 versus a 60. So, yeah, we'll see.
Well, if they start hot, you'll be one of the very few people to do that. And you will be on to a winner, which would be pretty cool. There's always the what-if with rucks, especially this year. But I feel like we've seen enough data to suggest that it's not necessarily going to be incredible. The Saints always give up big points, 100%. The Saints are notorious for giving up a lot of points because they don't, as I mentioned earlier on in this live stream, the Saints don't forward press defend. The way the Saints defend is that they run and flood everyone back. When they don't have the ball, they're always defensive side of their player. When they have the ball, they'll then go forward. So because when the opponent has the ball in their back line, they've got all of this time and space to possess, chip, take the territory that the Saints give them, because the Saints are too busy flooding back and they give them all of that space. So, yes, correct. A lot of points always given up by the Saints. I've changed my team more than I've changed my clothes over the last couple.
I hope you change your clothes once per day. So, if you change your team once per day, it's not the end of the world.
Exactly. Butters and detractors. Yeah, Track or Noah Anderson, potentially.
My worry is how do you have a loophole? That's the question. Like, are you starting a loophole? Are you not going to start a loophole? Because in my eyes, I'm only picking one. Like, I don't have the option because I'm just not going to have dead players if I can avoid it. So, yeah.
Well, the only type of loophole that could work is if it's a loophole that you know is going to play.
Oh, we're not going to go back to Isaac Rankin F2, are we, Joe? Come on, man. Come on, buddy. We're not going to pick Isaac Rankin just for fun.
No, I meant Carmichael.
Oh, okay. Potentially.
I was thinking someone like a Lockie Carmichael, but he is not even listed on the injury list.
Yeah.
So, did he die? And we didn't know about it?
He's just not injured anymore, and they just haven't selected him.
Well, if that's that's pretty bad. If that's the case,
yeah. Well, their team looks
more
secure, man. Like, why would they mess around with if they don't have to?
Correct. Lots of luck needed, especially with injuries and suspensions, like with the gods. Hey, mate, if you don't risk, you got to risk it for the biscuit, you uncle. If you play safe, overly safe doesn't get you nowhere. Haven't taken a selfie since 2023. Oh, very nice, very nice. Big J, is Colby going to play?
I think from all reports, yes, he's going to play 100%. It's just how well is he going to play is the big question. That's the thing. So he's had a limited preseason. He did do some training when I saw him on Monday. Sorry, not on Monday, on Friday. No, sorry, on Saturday. I went and watched him on Saturday morning. My mistake. He did do some training, but didn't play the VFL game like he was supposed to. They pulled the plug on him early so he could be fit for round one. So you just have to take into account, okay, I don't know how well he's going to go. Limited fitness and whatnot. The role should be there, but he is competing with a few guys down back. Hardiman, you'd hope he's back as well. Could you want to just pull up the injury list for North Melbourne, Joe?
Did you guys update it?
Should do.
This one, March 3rd. Yeah, that was last year.
So Hardiman, hopefully, is back. Colby McKercher should play. So, yeah, it could end up being a little bit different of a dynamic. And what happens with Blamires too? Where is he going to play? Does he affect the ball that Colby may get because they play a somewhat similar role. So, yeah, we'll just wait and see. There's almost too many question marks on him for me to say go for it straight away, which is why I'm not saying go for it straight away, basically.
Don't worry about that crazy team, Big J. With the uncertainty in the rucks, I have 5 teams starting rucks in my team. Surely at least 3 of them work out.
Well, Blackiston's 1. You'll have.
Right.
I know how you can get 4. I don't know how you'll have 5. So let me know how you got 5.
Unless he's got Reedy.
I guess so.
Colby should pump out some huge scores. You'd
I
hope so. Nini boy, go Kangas. Bring in Sherry lad.
It's a not so much for me at the moment.
Yeah, English not long before he pumps a 140 plus, then people will scramble to get him, possibly. And Neil burnt me way too much last year for me to consider, and then I'm trading him out. Well, that's the thing. Neil tends to have one good year, one bad year. If I just quickly pull up Blocky.
Yeah. And he's going to go in for the good year at the moment.
This is now good year Lockie. Plus, he has a chip on his shoulder and on his penis, and he has to really continue to work hard to beat the allegations that he is a prick, and he will not beat those allegations. So he's going to try and make amends with a very good Supercoach score. So we're
sure that's the case, Joe.
That's exactly what he's doing. But I have a no flogs policy in my team. And Lockie Neal squarely lines up in that description. So he's definitely a no for me. English needed a 30-point game-winning goal to save his score. But the thing is, Simi, English historically is pretty good at hitting the scoreboard. He's mobile. He can push forward. He can play in the midfield. So it's not a surprise that he kicked the goal. It's not like Pito pulling 3 goals out of his ass out of nowhere. You never see that happen. English has been in those positions before.
Yeah,
it's
just like Decamp.
Yeah, exactly. Jack, go ahead, gents. I'm still unsettled about these rucks. If I drop Sherry and put McAndrew R2, I can grab another mid. What is your thoughts? Currently, I have Sherry and English in the rucks.
Yeah, I think personally, I'm leading towards doing something like that, and I think you should probably do that too. There's just so many like question marks on these kind of players, so we need to reassess. I haven't been impressed by what I've seen, and it literally is like a 360 on top of what we see from last year and the ruck rules last year really benefiting Cherry to now what it is this year, and them basically like kicking him in the pants and saying, well, you're not a ruckman anymore. You're just a lumbering buffoon. So it's really tough. It's really, really, really tough. Yeah, it's not the greatest.
Lumbering buffoon.
Well, like it's just like a caveman running around. Like the guy can't jump. He can do the tackles when they go for the ruck contest in the tackles, but like that's it. You know, majority of his ball use was there, and there's not as many tackles as what there has been in previous years. So it's tough, mate. It's not an easy thing, you know.
Freaking Neanderthal. Queensland footy genuinely has a chance for a grand final. Suns have no excuses. Well, the Suns do have a pretty tough fixture, but if they play to their potential, and Dimmer said when he first joined the Suns, he reckoned 80% of a premiership list was there. I think he was pretty close to bang on. They've now added some great extra superstars. I'd love to see how it all works when Raul comes back into the team.
Yeah.
That midfield is going to be cooking. Is it possible that Dons are stuck in the mid-ladder blues, resulting in poor recruiting? I don't think we've recruited pretty poorly. I think getting someone like Fiorini as a winger from a good program, I don't think it's without overpaying for him. I think it's a very solid. I think wingers are quite important. Especially dedicated wingers that will stay to their role. They'll keep their width. They'll push back defensively, but also push for. It's a really important role to play that is a little bit underrated. It's not as flashy, obviously, but because there's a lot of unrewarded running. But without a doubt, if you don't have good wings, you tend to get exposed. And the best teams have decent wings, and the poor teams don't. So I don't think necessarily it's been bad in terms of recruiting these last couple of years. If anything, it's been after the Mackay, Dersma, Gresham. I think Gresham definitely is a bit of a bust, 100%. I think Dersma's been very solid, and Mackay, he was a man in demand. The Swans wanted him, the Hawks wanted him, we wanted him. They were offering more money than we were. Key defenders were really scarce at that point in time, and really it was seen as a win at the time. Of course, that lucky bastard at the Hawks, they missed out on him, but they lucked out, and because they missed out on him, they got Barras and they got Battle, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. So it's a bit of unluck, a bit of unluckiness there, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to bounce back in the next few years if they manage their talent correctly, but North takes advantage of Tassie connections when Tassie inevitably takes 1 to 2 of their players. Yeah, but those concessions won't be good enough, though.
Yeah. Like, we don't really have any players from Tassie, to be honest. It's like McKercher and that's it. We didn't get Sanders, as we probably should have. We haven't really drafted that heavily from Tassie. So I don't think there's Oh, maybe. I understand what you're saying. It depends. It depends. I think they're going to go after a lot of very, very good players. And they're almost in a beautiful position where the league is so flushed at the moment with really good talent that, hey, Bailey Humphrey, come to go play at Tassie. Here's $1 million a year. Just straight off the bat. Just like these kind of guys across multiple teams. I think the game's very different than when Gold Coast came in and then they struggled for quite a long time. I think Tassie could almost be a contender pretty quickly if they poach the state leagues and then and go through there.
Fast transition players in midfield, and with the way the ball is pinging around the ground, it's hard to pick steal. Correct.
Yeah.
Hey, Geordie, I think it brings a laugh to people. I'm here to inform and entertain. All right, it's a fine line, and I'm glad you got a laugh out of it. That I did my job.
If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe. We are trying to get to that magic 3K subs mark over the preseason/regular season. So just a little bit.
The Hawks are a little bit on the weak side, Mark. Regardless of who it is that they were going to play, they unfortunately cannot change their availability. They really do need Day to be fit and firing to play in that midfield. And it was clear that it was understandable why they went after Merritt, and I don't fault them for it. They have a perfectly sized shaped hole for him to fill in their midfield. Alas, it didn't work for them, and alas, Day is out. So they are limited with options that can go through that midfield. The Giants, they're strong in that department, and hopefully we can show that we've got enough people to run through there to give them a challenge. Unfortunately for us, our forward line will be unable to overpower their strong back line. We do not have the firepower to beat them. So even if we might get some field position, it will be repelled time and time again. So
and
the Hawks are going to win.
Vice versa too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see how we match up, but they're definitely the better team and the better coach team, and I think Sam Mitchell's definitely a better coach than Brad. So can't see us winning that game at all, unfortunately. Houston, Jacobs, and Quaino's maps look disgusting. Yeah, but as Crimson says, Collingwood's very game situational. They adjusted very well when they had the lead. And exactly, the Saints, their fixture, their habits, always rush back to defense. It just created loose men everywhere. So it doesn't work. Heaney can take a knee to the head and keep playing. Can't even concuss him. Easy pick. He's got a hard head.
Yeah.
Josh will be.
He totally got targeted there too. Like people are saying, nah, he didn't. I'm like,
you reckon?
Bro, he looked he 100% looked and was just like, hey, similar to Harris Andrews, right? In my opinion, at least, I reckon he 100% looked and then said, all right, cool, I'm going to try and stop this guy. And then gave him the old 1-2 punch to the head. So, yeah. It's my opinion, but I reckon players know, Joe.
Really
players know. These guys play for multiple years. They know where their body's going every week.
But they don't know where their opponent's bodies are going.
But they looked. Both of them looked. They actually looked. They looked. And it was
he saw him on the ground and thought he could leap over him.
And then he kneed him to the head.
Yeah, I know. It was silly. He should have been more careful and maybe not go over him. But I don't think he was anticipating his head to rise at that exact moment, which was silly. It was very careless and negligent. I don't think it was. I don't think anyone purposefully knees someone else in the head. That's a sickening act. And I feel the way I like to look at things, where ineptitude can be an explanation as opposed to evil, vindictive behavior. I will always give someone the benefit of the doubt and assume that it was ineptitude and not malice. I really hope it wasn't malice, because if it was, then he's an absolute scumbag of a person. Josh will be assault 90 plus. Is that enough though at his price point? And is that going to get him to be a keeper? No, it's not.
No.
Fine keys. My team is looking super fraudulent with Clary, Neal, and Laird in there. But honestly, I love it. Ball magnet's a ball magnet.
Yeah, exactly, right? You have to do something different if you want to be different. And if it works out for you, then fantastic. So no dramas.
Fine keys. I feel like you should change them to fine ball. Ball magnet. Pi's game plan will be showing the ball in defense, then pounce forward to the flankers. Dacos boys will have a huge impact.
Yeah, we saw that against the Saints. I just don't know if they're going to pass it as much in the next few games as they did in that one.
And other opposition teams won't allow them to do that either.
Yeah.
Cheese gents, anytime. Throw a blanket over 50 players and pick a team, basically, at this point. The big dogs. Yep. Yo. Hey, guys, I've added Parrish, Blackiston, and put in Buderick and Bruin. Thoughts?
No, I don't mind it. It really just depends on what your backline looks like. If you've got enough money to mess around and you don't have to go Blackiston, then fantastic. Like, it just doesn't matter. I think your downgrades, though, are actually less money than your upgrades. Than your original players was. So what are you doing with the extra cash?
Correct.
It's kind of my question. But yeah, no one's forced to go Blackiston. Like, the reason why we're picking him is because he's cheap enough to make us some money. We're expecting like 90s, and he's the number one ruck and should get DPP. And God forbid something happens to Mick Andrew, you have some form of cover. But otherwise, don't feel like you have to pick him. I personally, at least with this mess around team that what I've got at the moment, I don't have Parrish either. So if there's better selections, then there's better selections. You don't have you could go Cogs instead of Parrish and be like, okay, it's just what it is. So yeah, don't feel like it too much.
Exactly. I believe round 12 is going to be destructive. 100% Elijah. That's why I was talking here, mentioning it. It's important to note how many primos you've got in the early buys, but it's just as, if not more important, to keep an eye on round 12 again, because if they're primos, you're not trading them out. And even if you do decide to trade them out, you're trading them out to other premiums who haven't had their buy yet. So you're still going to get caught regardless of what you do. So best bet is to structure your team right now where you're not overly invested in round 12, so that if there are good primos to trade in between now and round 12, that you're still not overly committed there. So yeah, it's really important. Really, really important.
Big caveat for that too is that round 12 is a very, very, very long period away. So don't feel like, I can never pick McKercher. I have to go and pick someone else because he's got round 12. Like, by round 12, you might not own McKercher anymore. So don't new to your team just so you can get someone a tiny bit better, because it might just not happen.
Yeah, your cash generators you're not going to be keeping. They're going to be gone. But if I'm saying if you're overloading on your
Sport players.
premiums,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're overloading on premiums that you're going to be keeping, it means that you're stuck with them. But the cash generators, yeah, for sure. You'll be trading them out to genuine premiums. Supercoach could be balanced if meters gained was factored into points. I think it
I just don't
is.
know how. I don't know how they do it. I mean, you get some points, I believe, from like bouncing the ball, so that's at
Yes.
least something. But like at some point, it's just too much to kind of comprehend. I think a little bit.
I think it is to an extent. Like if it's a long kick, it
Yeah.
doesn't turn into a clanger. If it goes to a contest, it's still deemed an effective disposal. For example, I think it's a combination of rule changes, teams expecting to play fast. I think the game will slow down slightly once teams work out their shit. Once teams work out that they are shit, or once teams work out their shit, and then try to lock it up. And two more players to feed points to. Correct. It's the OG. It's Benny Boy. Long answers, Ben. Love your long answers, Benny Boy, and I think you are correct in
I'll
that.
have to get you on the
Michael,
channel, boys, because you guys obviously haven't been doing that much in terms of content this year. So I would love to get you guys on and just have a chat at some point.
Bont and Hayden Young or Clary and Neil?
Ooh, that's a question for you. I don't mind Clary and Neil, to be honest. I don't mind it. It's not Bont. Bont, you're going to get a top 8. Clary and Neil, potentially not. But I think for the starting initial points, you're banking a lot on Hayden Young to be comparable. And if we go off round 0, Clary and Neil are scoring 240, 250. So it's not the end of the world to pick those two.
It's not. You're right. Yeah, I'm not against it, especially if Young is playing with an injury cloud with his ankle. Then, yeah, I'm not against that either. Can't wait for the season. Should be a great season ahead. Here. Good luck to you as well, Binger. Good luck. Thank you. It's a 1 out of 2 forwards game now. Lock in Cogs is cheap. Look at that heat map. Yeah, but it's not a great heat map. It's, in my opinion, for Cogs. The lack of CBAs is definitely it means that it's not very sustainable. If he's only in, if I recall, back to the center bounces, the guy only had 11% of the CBAs. It means he needs to be playing for a winning team.
Maybe we need to do a
well.
bit of a traps video, Joe. But I think there's a few players like that maybe aren't the best,
In fact, something I want to be about. Oh, the bull ants. Oh, hey, that is very interesting. We spoke about Fonty. It is a one-off. 100%. It's a one-off, Matt. Pendles, scores, assists. His benefits so outweighs how many minutes he plays. He still bamboozles players half his age. Could be perfect for Tassie. Well, he's already getting some coaching into him, coaching at Haileybury with Lloydie, for example. So he's definitely dipping his toe in there, occasionally doing some stuff at the Pies when he was injured. So I think he's definitely earmarking a career pathway after footy into the coaching. And I loved his no-look handball over the top to assist McCreary with that goal. He's a star, Pendles.
There was some talk a while ago about Pendlebury potentially coaching with Clarko. So I would love if that, this is his last year, jump in, go help out with Clarko. I think that'd be very cool.
Yeah, you should 100% be doing. You should be throwing money at him for sure. Even someone like a Luke Hodge or a Jimmy Bartell. I know Jimmy Bartell was certainly interested in a couple of years back. That is of entering coaching. Some of these players, these great leaders of clubs and captains who have played for premiership teams and obviously learned from the best, they're invaluable and they're hungry. So 100%, we should be referring to these guys. G'day, Des. How we doing? I thought that about Gordon Grundy a few years back. That was a while ago. I don't remember what that was talking about. I'm questioning Buderick if his score was a one-off or if he's simply more adapted to the Queensland heat than the rest of his team.
Maybe. We kind of
certainly
know
helps.
that the role. We kind of know that the role was there because that's why he got brought across, and they like him because playing that role because it frees up Dale to move a little bit further up the ground. So it might be a Queensland heat thing. I've never actually thought about it that way, but like I don't know. If it doesn't work out, it's only 245K. He's already scheduled to make a bunch of money, so I don't think it's going to hurt you that much. It's not like picking someone 350 and hope and prayers,
I mean, him being accustomed to the heat does not give him extra kick-ins. That is a role thing there. So
I think it was more the performance on the field, but yeah.
Correct. Why have a cap on 3,300? Players should score points and then get rid of the cap. That's how you have the scaling. That's how you can. The Supercoach, the idea of Supercoach, it's supposed to measure the best players who have the most impact on the ground. And the only way you can do that is by having a certain pie. You have a pie, and then you are apportioning points of that pie to the players on the field. And the best players get the most points. The worst players get the least amount of points. So this is the way of showing, if it was a case where there really were no stars and there was like an even contribution across the board, you might find that there are a number of people who score 100 points. And as we saw in the Collingwood game, for example, the Collingwood Magpies, that back line almost all of them turned up, which suggests that almost all of them were quite similar in terms of output. A lot of them had similar disposals. A lot of them had similar marks. And so it paints a picture of how the game was played. Without the cap of 3,300, you can get some wacky scores that doesn't accurately reflect, I suppose, the weight of a person's performance.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's the big difference between this game and AFL fantasy, right? Is that, at least to my understanding, fantasy is, they just straight up got a touch, they get points. It doesn't matter how well they kicked it. Doesn't matter if they kicked it to the other team, they kicked it to their grandma, they kicked it to their grandpa. Like, it doesn't matter. They got a touch, they got it. Versus Supercoach, which I think in essence is a better form of scoring because it actually matters where the ball went, how effective you were, what's going on, that kind of stuff. So
100%. 100%.
Much better.
What happened to Cloggage?
Yeah. So he didn't play the rest of the game. I don't know if he's going to be out. At the moment, there really hasn't been much information on it.
Cox was a joke, Big J. You weren't meant to go there.
I don't know. Someone said I'm getting $20 if I pick Mason Cox. So we'll have to figure out who that was.
In $20 we trust. That said, Cox tend to go big in WA. That they do. I'm questioning my life choices. Oh, you've changed your picture, Jack. Very nice.
Don't question your life choices all the time.
Would you rather Worrell at D3 and have extra cash in the bank and get a higher primo, or take Whitfield instead?
It's a little bit different just because one has the buy round and one doesn't have the buy round. But I always say, hey, if you can go with the selection, that's going to be like locked in as a keeper, especially to start the season if you can. That's kind of my feelings anyway.
100%. Whitfield had a pretty shit game and still turned up. 7 out of 8 kick-ins. Like, regardless of how shit you are, again, the reason why we love, exactly another reason why we just love kick-ins, it gives you a floor. Like, if you didn't have so many of those kick-ins, if his role wasn't to be the man back there and he had his shit game, he's not scoring 103. He's losing, say, 6 or 7 effective kicks. That score is around an 80 point, and you don't really want your premiums at 600K scoring your 80s. You want them to be turning up every week. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome that we have someone like that there. Haven't heard much about Trent Rivers.
Well, I mean, like, he just hasn't played last week. That's the big thing, really. A lot of the talk has been about the guys that we've seen round 0 for. Looks like he's penciled in for at least a midfield type role, just for how Melbourne played him last week. But straight up, there's a reason why we haven't heard. And a lot of us are picking set and forget players. And Trent Rivers, unfortunately, doesn't follow into that category.
Yeah, no real CBA stats. We'll have to look somewhere else for the preseason. But there are just so many other options, Kobe, that you have more data about, less speculative. One, Gawn, Sherry, and Grundy be the exception to the rule in the ruckman we have seen so far. I mean, Grundy scored quite well.
Yep.
112 with a goal. So Grundy's good, and obviously Grundy ended the season last year with Grundy's end to the season last year was insane. Was he averaging like 130 or something?
Yeah, something like that. Or at least there was a period of time during the season where that was the case.
So he went on this massive tear to become the most expensive player in the history of the game, and then he kicks a goal here and scrums up 112 against Pitto. So look, I think Grundy will be good. Grundy will be fine because he's got that mobility at ground level. So he should be fine. Loophole, schmoophole, agreed. Mm-hmm. This could be the year to go Isaac Heaney R3 loophole.
Why not? Let's do it.
I'm not singing the Lockie Neal Spider Pig again, but it was such a great song though, Initiator. We had a lot of fun with that. Arthur Jones will miss a week with concussion. Use him as a loop. That's an idea.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll miss 1 week or 2 weeks. Only problem is there's if Carroll doesn't get named, 100%. I think that could be a play. I hate starting non-playing players, but in this situation, potentially. It's more just I think he'll be fine when he comes back. I just hate starting non-playing players, but good call there, Mark.
Lockie Neal's doing a better job than Luke. Oh my god. Neal should start. Hey, Uncle, Uncle, you look buff as Uncle. I'm not fighting you on the street, Uncle. I'll give you my money, bro, straight away. Should start hanging around with Wayne Carey and Gary Lyon. He might already be doing that, Uncle. We don't know about that. Joe, what's your honest thoughts? Paul James? Nah. It's not happening, guaranteed. You heard it here.
Yeah. No chance.
Harris won't get off those 3 weeks. We need him against Sydney. I was super disappointed with the result. I'm just stopping the last one.
I don't think he'll get off, but Brisbane's trying to contest it and say, hey, come in and give him 2 instead of 3. They're trying to downgrade it. He won't get off just for the fact that he hit the guy and then he got concussed, but they're trying to downgrade it as much as they can. So,
yeah. Didn't even comment on the judgment of the guy that did it. Hasn't been on towards him, a damn traitor. Yep. And it just opened up the discussion, Initiator. So Joe's standing by that pick for the weekend about the Hawks. So when the Dons win, you're ready to eat Hawk Pigeon. Hey, Mark, more than happy to eat Hawk Pigeon. I just don't think it will happen. But happy to be wrong, obviously. Mate the Great, love the name. Thoughts on Roses v. Galveston?
Look, I think you can probably pick both. Currently in the iteration that I've got at the moment, I've got both. I think a lot of it comes down to older player versus younger player. Galveston looked fantastic in the Amy game. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be great for North Melbourne, but he is a first-year player versus Roses that has been in the system for a while. That's probably the biggest thing between the two. You would assume that a good player is going to score more in a good team than a good player in a bad team. So maybe there's something with that too. But yeah, I think if I had to pick one of the two, it's a tricky one. If I had to pick one of the two, it would probably be Roses, just for the fact that we've already got the 68. So we know that he's already got some form of a price increase, hopefully coming, versus, hey, we have to wait for Galveston scores. And you would feel shit about yourself being like, hey, I didn't take Doveston. I didn't take Roses. I took Doveston. Doveston comes out and scores like a 40, and then it's like, oh well, too bad for you. You know what I mean? So, you can take both if you want. I think they've set to score really big. But if I was forced to pick one of the two, that would be the reason why.
Yeah. I mean, look at his heat map. He pushes pretty high up the ground. So he's not just a stay at home small forward, and he only hit the one goal for the 68. You know, in easier matchups, you can see him filling his boots in potentially with more goals. So yeah, I do like Malcolm Roses if you have room for him. That is, I know a lot of people don't have room for Roses. Last year, the team as you, Big J, where I used 5 boosts in 5 weeks, so I will not be making the same mistake again. Getting the right rookies is so important,
and that's the big thing, Jack. That's the big thing, and that's why I'm so hesitant on going some of these guys like McKercher, going some of these guys like potentially a Worrell and a few others that could look to break out, but at that weird expensive price that if they don't work out, you're kind of really stuck with them. So I'd rather go someone a little bit better and say, okay, cool, no worries. Take the rookie score or take the much cheaper mid-pricer and then just be, that's how it goes. So yeah, that's really my only question mark and something I'm trying to avoid, because those boosts and extra trades in the second half of the season would have been fantastic. So if you can start as the least amount of risk as you can, I know we say start the risk, don't bring it in, but if you can start the least amount of risk you can in your team and be set and be very, very happy, then I think you're going to dominate quite early. Because there were some people that spent no trades in the first 3 weeks. They just had everybody. And then it was like, cool, Max Hall went big. Yep, chuck him in my team. And it's like, oh, well, I don't have to sideways my entire back line anymore. You know what I mean? So I've seen McKercher D2 in some people's teams, and I'm just like, D2, it's a bit rough, man. Pretty much.
Around 12, we could have World War III. Take it around.
Mate.
That's some sage advice, Yanko. Sage advice. Thoughts on either Roses or Doveston for F8? Yeah, which is whatever answered that.
Roses for right now. You can always trade
Bombers. The Bombers 23, Oliver and Lindsay versus Parrish and Windsor. Which Lindsay are we Josh Lindsay or Xavier Lindsay?
The Melbourne one.
Parrish and Windsor. Yeah, no, it should be. That's more money. Oliver's 500 grand, and Lindsay. Well, must be Josh Lindsay, who's the 122k rookie. Because Parrish and Windsor are both about 600k as well. So it must be the rookie. Do you want Oliver and the rookie, or Parrish and Windsor?
I think we could be getting Oliver redemption arc, and I can't wait to see it. And I think it's going to be fantastic. And I'm keen for him to start pumping out 120s, and by round 3, people are like, holy shit, and they have to trade their like Errol Gouldens down to Oliver to bank some money, because Oliver's going to jump up 100k. Like I'm ready, boys. No Tom Green for the year. Like, that's done. He's perfect for him to slot into that team and do really well. Because there's no competition for spots. It's literally just Tom Green, and that's it. So, yeah.
How do you not have Lindsay, though? If you've got Parrish and Windsor, is Windsor taking up one of those defensive slots, and then on the bench you just don't have room for a Lindsay anymore on the defensive
People don't
bench?
have to have him. Like...
Yeah, but you've seen what halfbacks at the West Coast Eagles do.
I think you're getting the Lindsay wrong.
No, it's West Coast Lindsay. He put WC here.
Oh, okay.
West Coast Lindsay. Yeah. I think Lindsay. Lindsay is great. I think because we know what halfbacks score at the Eagles. I do like Oliver. I think Oliver's great. I think Parrish is also great for his price. He's the number 1 mid at the Bombers, and we know how much number 1 mids tend to score. And he's pretty cheap, low 300s for a number 1 mid. And it's not like he's a breakout number 1 mid either. Like, Parrish has had a year or two where he scored 110 for the season. If I go back, he's got 108, 110.9, 116.5. Like, am I saying he's going to repeat these heights? No, I'm not saying that. But even if he goes 108, not necessarily the 116, it's still a massive win at that price point. And he can be a last upgrade with no early buy. I think definitely there's scope there for Parrish. It's a pretty tough one. Windsor's never done it before. That's the only question. Back your heart in. Didn't realize this was live on X. There you go. Now you know. Pendles will be great at the Ruse. Correct. Pendles one of the greats of all time. Correct. In regards to stopping Nass and Collingwood showing the blueprint, Grundy kept going to 80 and was really physical all game. And I didn't pick Gawn because I thought other teams would emulate Grundy. Yeah, fine. Noble was looking good. He was just doing his own thing, but I can't go there. Gawn then went on average 140, and my season was cooked. Classic Gawn behavior. Did that to me as well.
The rules have changed too. Yeah,
correct. 100%. Everyone's losing their mind. Yes, I've heard that $20 for Cox. I don't think it was Acker. It might have been the Walsh guy. I did change my thing. Thanks for noticing. A very nice picture. I get to see your face in this one, Jack. Very, very handsome young man. Anth, the Joker, guys. Dawson or Richards? We like Richards, yeah?
Yeah, I personally like Richards. I think Richards is great. I think it's really his time to break out. I'm not sure what happened with Sanders. Maybe he's injured and he didn't play, and then Richards went bigger. But I'm just a little bit wary of looking at Dawson's where he's playing and how much impact and stuff he's having around the ground. And I'm a little bit wary that he could end up affecting his scoring quite heavily. So yeah. Jack.
Exactly right.
Send us on Facebook, mate, or Twitter. If you check the community post just on here, I've put up the links for both. So yeah, and same for you, Janko, too. If you want to put that on there, I know you PM'd us, but prefer if you can just chuck it on the thing. If you can.
I think you might have done that already, Janko. I think I see.
Quite a few.
Yeah, very nice.
More teasing. Have to meet my mum tomorrow. She's not well. Oh, good luck with everything. Yeah. She thinks the reserves won the flag last year. There you go. Don't tell her North Melbourne beat you guys last week.
Exactly right. Better chance for yes, I think so. But it's more likely going to be Bucks. He's just
100%.
getting
or Longmire or someone.
Yeah, but as against North is obvious captaincy in my opinion. In the first 4 rounds, we're bound to have a Camp-Royale type rookie. By then, if we need loops, not worth risking it for 1 round. Agreed, Flash. If both Farrow and Sharp are named, you can only pick one. Which one do you choose? Oh, you just pick Sharp.
Yeah, probably.
Sharp is ready made.
I don't mind Farrow, but Sharp's probably better.
Love Farrow. He's a sensational player, but Sharp's position I think is more locked in, and you just want to cement your cash gen on the bench as very important. Brad, can't believe you're still going. I'm cooked after 1.5 hours these days,
mate. Well, we are probably going to finish up in the next 5 or 10 minutes, so it's not so bad, but 100%, buddy. It's been a long live stream.
Well, it needs to be. It's the last week. It's the week off. People want their questions answered, and
that's it.
We live to serve. We do the hard work so you don't have to, as you know. Then there will be no Jaden Shorts or Harry Perriman's 100%. Parrish and Windsor and find another way to get Lindsay. Yeah. No rookies on field and defense.
No, you can't. You have to. You have to have someone. There's probably five or six really, really good rookies in the defense. And if you don't go big there, I think you're really going to struggle. Like, just straight up, I think it's a bad decision to make. So, yeah, not good.
Can we play Gridley? We can. We'll end it. We'll end it now. I think we've got all the questions now. Parrish is old. He's only 28. Correct.
There you go. Guys, Sanders out thanks to Bombers. Jaden Short, Perryman, Blackiston gives me the vibe, potentially. There's just a lot of downgrade options that should be able to work. Lindsay, Windsor, and a few others, some DPP across each line as well, if you've got a Grill or a Farrow in your midfield. So it's not the end of the world. Guys, going to head up with the Gridley now. If you guys are interested, feel free to jump on, become a member. We're doing members live stream tomorrow. We're happy to have a look at some of your teams or have a bit of a chat face-to-face if that's what you want. We will be doing the updates to the community team as well tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we are doing Rate Your Team. So check the community posts. Joe, do you want to just pull up our Centre Bounce YouTube and you can just show them where it is?
YouTube.
This is where we find out Joe's not actually subbed to the channel.
Bounce. No, I'm subbed. Good to know.
Click. Yeah. And then if you scroll down, it should have a post for us. Maybe in posts.
Posts.
Yeah.
Posts.
So it's got the 2 links there for Rate Your Team, either on Twitter or on Facebook. Post your team up there. Wednesday, 8 o'clock is when we'll do the live stream for that. So you guys have until then to make it happen. So feel free. Love the stuff. Like, share, subscribe as always. You just got to make sure that it's a full picture of your team. We're not going to look at half a screenshot because we've been stuck by that too much. Either include in the screenshot how much cash is left or just type it in when you post it. Yeah. Done.
Brilliant. Got a very, very important question that definitely hasn't been asked before. Parish or Young? I personally am Team Parish, not because I'm an Essendon supporter, but because you know what the role is. He's number 1 inside mid. He can't play anywhere else. He hasn't had any injury interruptions this preseason. He's been fully fit and firing. A lot of people close to the club that I talk to have noted that this guy looks like he's going to recapture his 2021 form, which was his All-Australian year. And I like to hear all of those things. And he's significant, and he's about $60,000 cheaper, I think, off memory, from Young. So I like Parish if you can only afford one. If you can only have one of them, I like Parish.
Yeah, I think for the cheaper price, Parish might be the better fit because it's not as much of a liability. I do like Hayden Young, though. I think post like round 3 or 4, they have a pretty good fixture to go to. And he's obviously a little bit closer to being primo status than Parish is just by a price. So if Young only makes you 50K, him plus a rookie equals a primo.
And that's pretty awesome. If you can get Parish and Clary, that's a pretty great duo there.
Happy.
Great duo. 100%. I agree with that.
Parish and Clary is almost the same as Bont and a rookie, which is pretty crazy.
All right, so let's do this Gridley and be on our way because it's been 3 hours and 18 minutes of great fun.
Yeah.
All right, Cats. Now, we've already got someone, Eddie Betts, Kobe. Eddie Betts, 100 goals at Carlton. 2 clubs, that's true. Eddie Betts has played for 2 clubs. Do we have a better answer than Eddie Betts for this one?
Just chuck it in. Matey the Great wasn't the same thing said about back rookies last year. I'm not sure what was said about back rookies last year, but right now we've already got 3 that have played in Sarong, Jakes, and Selwood, and both have scored decent enough for us to either have them on field or not. Benefits of round 0. One of the Essendon boys should play, and then you've got like the likes of Lindsay in there as well, plus Grill, plus a couple of others. So I think there probably is about 5 that could easily play. So I don't know if it's the same exactly situation this year.
Can we go with Nick Stevens? Can we go
Nick Stevens? And they were good. Yeah, Trainer and Reid both scored really well. Connor O'Sullivan went massive. Pryor went massive as well. So imagine if you didn't have many of those, you would have been in a bit of trouble, I think.
13%. Nah, get out of town. Undo. Undo. How dare I listen to you? Remember, there have to be rare answers. I don't know. I took it for granted. I thought people here knew the rules. All right. We have to pick very rare, obscure answers. Okay. We've already used our one undo, which is tragic. There have to be very rare, obscure answers for anyone that has played in the VFL/AFL
This
era.
Gridley is a bit hectic.
Okay. Polly Farmer, says Mark. Okay. Dodgy Malacca played in 2010s and 20 plus in the grand final. Liam Pickens. I don't mind that, Liam Pickens. 2010s and 20 plus. All right. We'll go with Liam Pickens. I reckon that might be pretty rare. Liam Picken. 1%. Yes, that is a very rare answer. We want a rare answer. Very, very important. Polly Farmer, you reckon? 100 goals for 2 clubs? 100 goals for 2 clubs? Polly Farmer kick 100 goals for 2 clubs.
1 sec.
Polly Farmer.
Like 100 goals, and then they've played for 2 clubs, or 100 goals at both clubs?
Has played 100 or more. Oh, sorry, games, not goals. That's stupid. 100 plus games for 2 different AFL clubs.
I started looking up Ben Brown, Joe, and I'm like, how many goals did Ben Brown score?
Sorry, it's 100 plus games. I've been reading for too long. Yes, initiator. I've been doing it for 3 hours and 21 minutes does things to you. All right. So, Polly Farmer. All right, we'll do it. Because no one has given me any other options. We'll go with Polly Farmer. It didn't work. We're not going to finish this, Gridley. Wonderful. Joel Selwood, teammate.
Maybe that's us then.
Joel Selwood is going to be the most common answer in the world, bro.
Wow. Hooroo review. Hey, clowns. I thought the last vid was live.
No.
From what you mean, but okay.
This is ridiculous. Are we allowed to cheat in this?
You can cheat as much as you want, as long as you give us the answers.
This is ridiculous.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Quinton Knuckle. All right, that's not bad. 2%. I'll take that. That's not too bad. I did say Nick Stevens. I'm just going to back in my gut with this one. We're not going to finish it, unfortunately. Nick Stevens, 3%. Yep, that's pretty good. 20 plus in a grand final. I think maybe Ange. Ange Christie will be way too common of an answer. I think Ange Christie would be way too common. Tom Bell? Yeah, sure. Carlton and all right, sure. We'll do Tom Bell. Tom Bell. Not Bell Chambers. Tom Bell. 0.9%. That's brilliant. That is beautiful. You'll love to see it. I'm going to say Daniel Pearce. I reckon Daniel Pearce might not get a lot of people. Bang. All right, 0.6. Yes, Daniel Pearce is pretty low there. What else is there? Actually, you already got an answer for that one. I'm going to say Isaac Smith. Yes, very nice. I reckon that's going to be very common. It'll be very common. 5%, actually. It's not as common as I thought it would be. Pretty cool. Pretty nice. I like that. Simon White here, 0.2%. Very nice. All right. We're sort of flying through this. Ken Hinkley for Geelong. All right. Ken Hinkley. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is us. It was also wrong. Great. We got 2 wrong. This is a fucking bad, very bad Gridley.
That's all right.
It's
First
all right.
time in a while we haven't been able to finish it.
100%.
What can you do?
You win some,
Guys.
you lose more.
Yeah, that is us for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Remember, get your teams in. Wednesday is going to be hectic. I think it's going to be a long one. Please don't hate us too much for giving you bad reviews for your clubs and for your Supercoach teams. What am I saying? Members live stream tomorrow at 8. If you guys are members and then joining, should be fun. Keep an eye out for all the news and stuff too. If you guys see any news on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, please give us a shout. We'd love to be able to talk about it on the channel. Lots of stuff coming out in terms of players coming out and whatnot. So, yeah, stay tuned for all that kind of gossip and info.
Yeah. Night, guys. Absolutely cooked. League code. It's... Where is it? Banners. Here we are. League code.
Yep.
Is...
That's our league code, guys. We do have 3 prizes that you guys can win. First prize is a jersey of your choice. Second prize is 2 tickets to an AFL game for our highest scorer throughout the 24 weeks. And then booby prize AFL voucher. So, yeah, it's not too bad for some free stuff if you guys want. Joe's cooked, boys. Got early mornings. Catch us in the next one. Have a good one, fellas. 3 hours, 26 minutes. Catch us in the next one.